Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we're going to get into what triggers people the most during no contact. It's a topic I've talked about, but guess what? We talk about a lot of the same stuff over and over again, just like you think about a lot of the same stuff over and over again when you're in a breakup. And this is an important one because these are things that you want to avoid or be aware of. It's just kind of like if you were in a new neighborhood, a new area, a new environment, and someone say, hey, just don't go over to that neighborhood. It's a bit dangerous. They shoot people over there. And you're like, really? Well, what happens? It's like, don't ask a bunch of questions. You just don't go over there. You could get shot. Okay? It's dangerous. It's the same thing mentally. Mentally for you during a breakup, you are a fragile, sensitive being that's looking for directions in a map, a compass, some fishing hooks, some waterproof matches, maybe a Swiss Army knife. You're desperate, right? And you're looking for things. And this is when people go online, they're like, what do I do in no contact? I'm going to tell you right now what to stay away from, because these things are going to make it worse. Much, much worse. And they can be avoided. They can be a little bit more controlled if you're aware of them first and foremost. Just like I just made that statement, you know, someone tells you don't go to that neighborhood. You're like, oh, I kind of want to check it out though. Right?
Now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, hey, you know what? Someone told me that I can get shot over in this neighborhood. Maybe we should just drive through there and see what happens. Cool, man. Bring your phone. Like, there's people like that, right? If you told them that, they'd be like, oh man, maybe we can get a video out of this. Maybe we can get a Snapchat story out of it or something. It's like, all right. And then they hear, and then a bullet goes by their head and they're like, oh shit, I got to go to therapy for fucking 6 months, right? Think about it. So I'm going to give you that right now. If you're in the middle of this breakup situation, you're in no contact, you're biting your fingernails. And I've been there. People have been there before. I don't know if I was biting my fingernails, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah. Where you're wondering, what the hell's going on? Are they going to call me? Do they even care? What triggers people the most during no contact? B, I'm going to put you on the spot. It's been a long time. I know you were lost for a little while.
I found
you were an Indian in an ashram, right?
Yeah,
is that what they're called? Ashrams or ashrams?
Ashrams.
Ashram. You're not sure how to pronounce it either.
I don't know. I think that's the way. I'm going to say ashram. Yeah. But hey, I don't know.
So B's been, you know, finding himself. So if you had to think about it, because you don't know what I wrote out right now. It's not in front of you. You don't got a computer in front of you.
I just pulled up the live stream, but no, I didn't see
What's up, Rob Ias? Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. What triggers people the most during no contact? What do you think it would be?
When we were talking about it before, I would say I was thinking about social media would probably be like, you know, checking photos and things like that.
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah.
I'd say there's one before it.
Okay. One in the hierarchy before that.
You think there's one before it? And when you think about being triggered and being like, when I say triggered, like it really upsets you. And it's.
If you see your ex or, you know, with another person, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a big one.
Right. Like I guess that goes with the social media stuff, like pictures or whatever. But
Tommy's dad says the unknown. That's a broad topic. Like, uncertainty is one of the things during no contact that's, you know,
that eats at you.
Yeah. You're trying to put a puzzle together and you got 3 pieces.
Sure.
You're like, I think if I had this piece, maybe when mutual friends tell you that the other is seeing or sleeping with someone else. Yeah, that's a big one, dude.
Yeah.
That's not how I framed it, but yes. Disclosing that the ex was having sex with someone else. Yes, that would be a big one. It's kind of funny when friends drop that too. I haven't had that happen to me. It's like, thanks, bud.
Right.
Hey man, I just want to let you know. She's been pounding Tommy over at the at the coffee shop. Like, I just found out, dude. Did you want to know?
Did you want to like thanks.
Dude, there's video out. It's like, no, I'm cool, dude. I don't even care. You go home and it's like,
right.
I mean, that would suck. If you're in that situation and you do know that your friend's girl or ex-girl is seeing someone else and you know you wouldn't like it, would you tell him?
Like my best friend, maybe? Yeah.
I would put it like this. It would count which friend it was.
Right.
Because different friends receive
that's
information differently. You don't want to tell the friend that's
highly unstable or
has a bunch of guns. Right. Yeah. Or like one, you know, it's like, fuck it.
That can
where? You got any more info on this dude?
Right.
So I would say that, but I would say situational thinking would be if he's still trying to get her back and she's breadcrumbing him, then tell him. Or her, vice versa. It's not always male, female, female, male. But I would say that I've had that situation once. I've mentioned on the live stream, people have watched this live stream many times, but I had a good buddy, good friend, one of my best friends. And coming out of high school, was his high school sweetheart, and they had been together for years, broke up for like a year, but he was still trying to climb that mountain.
He was still attached.
He wasn't attached, but he was just putting in work, as we used to say.
Like
I don't hear that term anymore, putting in work.
Putting in work? Yeah.
He was just putting in work. Like,
right. Well, there was still some attachment there, you know.
But she was also like hanging out with him. And they like hooked up once, but she wasn't like taking him back.
Right.
So he was, and he wasn't like, oh man, I need her back. He was putting in work, like seeing what would happen. He thought he had a chance.
Right.
He didn't say that. And so I came across info, and the fucked up thing was, out of high school, you have like a friends group or like extended friends group or people you don't,
Sure.
A large group knew she was seeing this other dude.
And he was kind of on the outside.
And he didn't know.
Right. He was on the outside of it.
And I remember at like a get together that like he showed up to my friend and his ex was there and all this other stuff. And then that other guy who we knew was there. And you didn't know that they were hooking up. But it's kind of a messed up thing because she knew. And she knew her ex still liked her. And she wasn't a devious chick. Like people were like, oh, she had it planned. She wasn't like that. He had dumped her and they had been apart for a while and he wasn't pressing. But I told him. And when I told him, it hurt him. But I had to tell him because I was like, you got to know because you're trying still.
Right.
And you're showing up to get-togethers and the other dude's there and you don't even know he's...
Sure. So it's making you look, and everybody else knows, and it's making you look...
He's lapped you.
Right.
The race is over, dude. Like the intel I got was good.
Right.
That's the other thing I would add is that if you're going to drop intel to your buddy, make sure it's like, it's not speculating like, yeah, I heard through a friend of a friend. I saw on a post. That's third hand stuff from her. One of her best friends told me. So it was true.
And you guys were all still close, dude. Like you were all hanging out.
We were all off to college. So it was a summer.
But it wasn't some off, she wasn't just somewhere else.
She wasn't a bad person. Right. And like I said, he was just trying to put in this light work. And then once he knew, he's like, thank you for telling me. I knew
I'm going to put it work somewhere else.
But I'm saying that's the situation is that you should monitor that before. Right. So I would say that, yeah, that's probably the worst. But there's some friends that get a kick out of it.
How do you mean? Like
they get a kick out of triggering you.
Oh, like they want to,
like lighting the firecracker. Like, watch this, dude. I'm gonna tell him about Tommy. I'm gonna tell him, and then like I'll film it for a Snapchat story, and we have some fucking short content. By the way, that golf meme was the funniest thing I've seen in like 10 years. I was laughing out loud.
Well, it went from like 0 to 100 pretty quick.
Did you think what I thought? Because the guy was like 50s, 60s.
Yeah, maybe
TRTs.
Right, maybe. But he apparently
I wish I had that to show everyone in the
He apparently has a troubled history of doing this kind of stuff. Like he's been arrested.
Did you hear what he said?
Like shit stain or something. Like it was so funny.
He's like, welcome to heaven. I'm God. I was like, what? Rips off his shirt on the golf course.
I'm sure people that are going to watch this know what we're talking about. But
that's what you said. You're like, I've seen it many times.
It went super viral. It's a guy who on a golf course took another like group's ball apparently. And he was just like, no. Like, leave me alone. And then he just went 0 to 100 real quick, ripped off his shirt, Hulk Hogan style, and just went in it. It was fun. Welcome to heaven. I'm God. I was like, what? Like, that's a good line, man. It's funny how the people that were filming, like, whoever.
Oh my God, he's mentally ill.
No, but they seemed pretty young, like whatever. And they were like, you just took her ball. Like, and then he did the thing and they were like, okay, we're out. Like we're not going to.
One of them goes, oh my God, he's mentally ill. Let's go. And I thought
that's such a
funny thing is if he would have gotten a fight, right? That's the kind of guy that bites.
Oh, he'll go down. He'll go down swinging for sure. But over a golf ball, dude, that's pretty funny. All
right, so let's get into these topics today. We got Tommy's dad. Great name, by the way.
Tommy's dad. I like it.
Maybe let me just disclosing that the ex was having with a Tinder date, for example. I think that happens a lot. Like I said, if you're going to give your friend info, make sure it's accurate. Don't give them half-ass. Like I've heard, you know, 3 people over, or I saw on social media. I think that happens a lot. Oh, I saw her post. Don't do that, because you don't know. Like a post with someone else. Because I've had clients call me up. Oh yeah, you know, Ricardo, my best friend, he just told me last night. I told him not to do this, but he's like, he told me in her story recently she was at Disneyland having fun. It's like, yeah, what does that mean? Oh, she was with a big group of friends and there were some guys there. It's like, don't do that if you're a buddy. You're not providing any. It's like circumstantial evidence. Okay. All right. Number one. This is my number one in my experience.
So this is
what triggers people the most during no contact. And this is kind of what B said, kind of what this would fall under the umbrella of having too much info on who they are dating. Like you have a profile or a baseball card, like you know where the guy works,
everything,
especially for guys. So this is not a channel just for guys, because I have plenty of women that I've helped with coaching and the situations opposite. I would say it applies for women too.
Because then you're comparing stats.
You broke up.
You're comparing stats with
that's what happens, dude. It's just that, and women do the same thing. And if you have an ego just a little bit, you'll just start going to town on like, this guy's a loser, this guy's that. And I'm not saying that that's not a natural human characteristic. So you can't really like control that. But once you get to that point, it's really hard. You can't take the info out. So what you do instead is like, is there a Wikipedia on this guy? No. All right, what's next?
Where can I get more info?
Like what else can I find? What else can I find? And sometimes like during coaching sessions, I'll be honest, I'm like, where did you get this information? I'll be like, oh, it was on the post. Oh, she, and the worst one, she told me. And I'll go, oh, that was dirty.
She's trying. Yeah, that's dirty.
That's dirty. That's manipulation. If you got that info and you feel like you got that from them, this is one of the worst situations, because you can't take the info out of you and you're just constantly comparing. And you're also like, because part of you post breakup, especially men, it's still my girlfriend. Like you don't, if you've been together 3, 4, 5 years, like a real relationship, you don't just dissipate that in your head. So whoever they're with, men don't go, oh, you know, he's a good guy. Guys will just go, this guy's a dork. Oh, this guy's this. Like they'll just find a way to cut his legs out from under him. I've rarely heard one compliment. Women will just think like, how good looking is she? And they'll admit, no, she's pretty. She's hot. I don't like her, but I know that she's hot. I know why he likes her. Like women go straight for like, this is what guys pursue. And this is how they measure themselves post breakup. They're like, well, if you end up with someone hot, like it kind of, that's what it should be. They lose respect if you're with someone else. Bottom line is, having too much info on who they are dating will trigger the hell out of you. And it doesn't end, because if you know their name, if you know how to find out more information, you'll just go farther and farther and farther. What's some ways to avoid this, you think?
For the social media gathering stuff?
What do you think? Because I always like to give advice saying like, all right, well, if that's the problem, what would,
in past relationships, like I don't go on social media, so I've kind of taken a break from that. So I don't.
Number one, social.
That's the main thing.
Social media fast right away.
That's exactly what I do.
I would say no one does this very often, because you don't usually plan a breakup, but you would say, as soon as you break up, you tell your friends and family, heck, I don't want to know anything.
Right.
If you're still connected with them.
Right.
Because I've had friends ask me, I just told that other story. I've had friends ask me after a bad breakup that I had years in my 20s, like, hey, do you want to know? No. Thanks for telling me. Thanks for, yeah, man. And then he went into the story. I'm like, no, I don't want to know. He's like, oh yeah, she was drunk. And I was like, nope. So just have that in your head. And then if you've already been triggered and you already got some info, tell your friends now, like, I don't want any more. Because I don't know why people do this. They'll do what you just said. They'll take their social media down. They'll do this, and then they'll be like, they'll call up their boy.
Give me some.
And they'll be like, hey, do you have her on social media, right? And then they'll use the thing and stuff. So I'd say, just you're never gonna feel better having any kind of information on whoever's tagging your ex, right? And you might be wrong too. Like that's the other thing.
Well, especially like we've talked about, and everybody knows, like social media, you get we get a power outage.
Put that one on there.
Where is it?
It's my good light. High quality here. It's right on there. Yeah. No. Now the Petty Betty's back on deck. All right. So number 2. Like I said, tell your friends and family, like, look, don't tell me. I actually just recently had an ex from my most recent breakup, which was years back. And a relative of mine was like, hey, do you want me to tell you they've been with someone for a year? And I'm like, I don't care anymore. That's great. I'm happy for them. So it's like I said, there's an expiration date on this stuff when it's less sensitive or more sensitive. Be aware of it, okay, folks? Now, number 2, sounds obvious. I've talked about this before, social media stalking, going through someone's social media and just looking for pictures. It's gonna drive you nuts, especially if they look good. Like, you think that would be good because you're like, oh, they no. Like, I think you'd get more kicks if you're like, oh God,
looks horrible.
They look horrible.
But that's what everyone puts their best filtered pictures up, or
but if videos. They didn't look good, right? You'd also feel bad because you're like, if you're a guilt-ridden person, you're like, wow, they look a wreck right now. They've been drinking every day or something. So you just don't want to see them because whatever light that you held them in, but it's the pictures too. It's not the comments. Well, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes people are like, you know what they said? The comments and whatnot. Social media stalking is a total minefield post-breakup. You don't want any snippets, news, anything like that. Number 3, any predictions?
That was my big.
This is a good one, actually.
Let's hear it.
Too many no contact videos on YouTube.
Too much content.
Oh man, this is probably one of the biggest things the last year or two. And I'm on YouTube, right? I got my hat in the ring. So someone's like, "Oh, you don't like the competition?" No, I don't, because a lot of it's redundant.
Right.
But there's a lot of fear mongering. So what'll happen is you'll go into no contact. You know your reasons. You're good. You watch one video that goes, if you write a letter and you write this, this, and this, and now you have a reason to break it, and you haven't really discussed it with someone like myself or another coach or a therapist,
someone
or
on
a friend,
the outside,
and you're like, now your mind's like, this is the reason why I should break it. And then you find another video that's like, never write a letter. And now your brain's got the ping pong game and you can't stop. And it's really uncomfortable. So I'd say once you get to a point where you're like, I'm doing no contact for me, and they come back, it's a bonus, and I know why I'm doing it, and I know the risk and reward and all that other stuff, stay with it. A lot of times when people are in it, they're in it for a reason. Oh, hold on a sec.
What's up, Petty Betty? It's been a while.
Petty Betty's always the same. She never changes.
Is she hot? Rye, what's up?
Hold on a sec. All right. How fun is it to watch someone type on a live stream? Not fun. Like, what are you doing, man? It's live. All right. So just move back so we can have a longer live stream today. An appointment for tomorrow. All right. So too many no contact videos will be a minefield because someone's going to give you conflicting advice, and you watch 150, 2,000 people are watching a lot of videos now, and you just got to stick to why you're doing it. So come to the conclusion, like, look, I'm doing no contact, negotiations, all problems aren't solved. That's it. Now, if you want to mention the problems and go through it, fine. If you want to say like, hey, what's my next move? Then book a session with myself or another coach out there. Get advice from someone directly. Watching 100 videos just leaves you with the paradox of choice. And that's a bad place to be in no contact because you're already sensitive to what to do.
Of course. Right.
You've been with this person for a long time. And what do you do when you're with someone, right? For 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you make plans every week. You talk, you text. Even if you have a monotonous, mediocre relationship, whatever that means, to someone, you still every week are like, hey, we're gonna go out to eat on Friday. Like you're always communicating or having plans or whatever, even if it's a dried up, shriveled relationship.
Sure.
Always. So when you're in no context, like, let me in, coach. Like, what's the play? And it's like, nah, sit on the bench. That's where we want you for today and tomorrow and the next day. There's no plays. And it's like, well, then I can't score and we can't win the game. It's like, it's not about scoring or winning. What? Let me watch 1,000 videos and figure this out.
Well, then your mind will like navigate towards what you want anyways. Like when you have all those thousands of videos coming at you, it's like, I'll take that route.
So that's a big one. That's a big one that I think has gotten worse. And I wouldn't have said that a year or two ago, but there's just so many. And then there's a lot of people that make the videos that are literally trying to trigger you to buy something rather than it's real simple. The problems aren't being solved. You guys agree to disagree. You don't talk anymore. It's not working. You're better off investing a little bit of money and talking to someone live and going through your issues individually. Cut the 100. If you get to a point, you're like, damn, I think I watched about 100 videos on that. It's not good. That's not good. I don't know how you're like, no one's going to have the same information and someone's going to give 10%, 20% are going to give bad information and like 30%. The big thing now, I was talking to you about this, B, is the influencers are the biggest people like Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan. Right. These people, not Joe Rogan specifically, but a lot of the other ones, they're like, all right, fuck it. I'll do some relationship stuff too. Maybe I can get some money out of that. And it's like, that wasn't their hat. Right? This has been my hat for 5 years. I'm not even super proud of it, but it's my hat, right? Like that's what I do. I do breakups. I help people with no contact, those kinds of things. Oh, Jordan Peterson, he's famous. He's a philosopher. He's been married for 40 years. I don't know when he's been in no contact, but he'd have an answer for you, right? But he'd probably have an answer like to skew you towards, marriage, conservative stuff. I'll give you an example, and I like Jordan Peterson.
No, right? I do too. Yeah,
I like him. He's one of the best.
Right. And it's just natural, like, you're on all these podcasts.
And I would say he's one of those, most of his advice is pretty damn good.
Right.
But I'll give you an example about him. So he has this big thing about wearing suits.
Like in all of his...
Yeah, and he's always like, as a young man, these people are just dressing really bad. You should wear a 3-piece suit. You should wear a suit. And it's like, if you go back to when he got famous, when he was a university teacher, he's not wearing a suit. Let alone a nice suit that's expensive.
No, I remember early days. I think I did see him in some suits, and I'm like, those aren't
sport coats.
He's definitely.
Let's get it correct. A sport coat from Men's Warehouse on the cheap rack is not a full suit. He's telling people like, hey, you should be dressing in a suit. It's like, yeah, because you're minted now.
Go spend $7,000 on a Tom Ford.
And I don't mind. I like suits.
Yeah,
I like them. I'm not going to wear them in certain environments or weather that I live in now, but I like wearing a suit. I look good in a suit. I like it. But you telling that people, and then people go back and they're like, oh, before you got your stylist and was famous, and he looks different too. His hair's a little messed up when he's a teacher and stuff.
Oh, when he's a lecturer, when you're watching
he's got a stylist now. You could tell, right? And I'm happy for him. Great dude. But like I said, what they do now is they get like, oh yeah, we can do some relationship stuff. We can do this. We can do that. Now you're getting an opinion from someone. It's not their specialty. It's like, if you want to get a really good croissant, you go to a bakery. You don't go to the supermarket where they have them in some package, right? Someone's like, oh, well, the supermarket has bakeries too. You know what I mean? A specialty bakery. Right. If you want to take it a step further, a French bakery, because that's where croissants come from.
A croissant?
That was clean. Croissant. All right. Now, number 4, thinking you have to send one more long letter text to save the day. This is a big one. This is when I get
I think we've all probably done this at some point, or at least
I
have.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself, man.
I'll admit it. I have. Well, not during I wasn't in no contact, but I've definitely wrote those.
The thing is that when you get that thought, it's okay. No problem with it. Take some time. I always tell people like, write it out, because whatever you're writing out is for you.
Yeah.
It's for you. Right. So I always tell people like, you think it's for them.
Yeah. Read it in 3 months. And
you don't know how many of these letters I've read where they're like, let me send it over to you. And it's like, yeah, man, thanks. And they'll be like, I know it's a little bit long. And I'll go, much. No problem. It's what I do. Yeah. Right. If you sent that to Jordan Peterson, you'd be like, oh no, let me tell you about Carl Jung. It's like, I'll read it and I'll read it through. And usually it's like this. It's always going to skew towards more of what was the problem on your end. So if you were needy, the letter's needy. And I'll read it and I'm like, you're doing the same thing again, dude. You're being needy, you're guilt ridden. Or if you thought that they had a problem, then you're like, you need to really fix that problem. Like what you do is you sweeten up. If you're a sweeter person, you sweeten up what the problems were and you try to put it into like a elegant, thoughtful, rightful way. And I've seen so many, I'm like, damn, I swear to God, when I read these, I'm like, you're a good writer.
Like
and I'm being genuine, right? And I've been there and I always go, hey, just wait a day before you send it. Like just put it on ice. But if you really want to send it. Because the human mind, adults, you don't like to be told what to do. If you want my opinion, just know what your expectation is. And people be like, I don't have a lot of expectation. It's like bullshit. You write out a letter that you spent 30, 45 minutes, 50 minutes on, you got an expectation. If you wrote a letter that you're like, damn, that was good. That was eloquent. That was nice. I was supportive. I was clean. I talked about the problem. I told them I'm going to fix it. It's like, but what kind of person are they? And even if you're going to write that letter out, whatever the reason you broke up, you just did 2 years a hard time proving that you're this person, and now a letter is going to overturn that. Could do for a sentimental type. Your ex is sentimental and thoughtful and kind and sweet and susceptible to pity seeking,
and they really respond to it.
Possible. If they're stubborn, strong, independent, probably not. It's probably going to work the opposite. But you write that for you. So I generally tell people, go ahead and send it. And they'll say, oh my God, I sent it and I feel so good now that I sent it. And then 24 hours later, like, I wish I never sent that.
You reread it and you're like, oh shit.
I'm not the one to go, I told you. It's a process that everyone does. Because what happens is in no contact, think about it. Because you're not talking, your mind's slowly forming the perfect letter or text or email
this will get them back and everything will be great. Yeah.
And some people go, oh, it's just a Hail Mary. It's just a try. Don't try. It's not a Hail Mary. There's no clock and there's no possibility of a touchdown here. It's one of those things that you think you're going to flip the tables, right? It can work though. In most cases, I would say no. But if you want to do that, book a session at writemac.com. We'll talk about it for an hour because it's a big situation. It's not going to ruin your chances, but guys later on like, oh, I shouldn't have sent that. It's the timing of when you send it. It's also situational. Number 5. Cinco. If you reached out, would it work? How many times do you have this question, right? Like, if I do reach out, then like, would it work? Like, would it work? What would work? Now, here's the thing that's interesting about no contact. You're thinking, get my ex back, but that's the wrong thinking. You just want to get a date. You just want to get a meetup. But what happens is if you reach out and you go, can we just get back together and work on it? It's like 0 to 100, way too much. The person has already come to that conclusion. If you're like, you're better off going, hey, can we meet up and have dinner on Thursday? If they knock you down for it, okay, bye. Go back into no contact. Okay, no problem. I would highly recommend, I've seen now a lot, and I'm a big fan of Corey Wayne. I think he does good work. His book's good and all that other stuff, and he's got good information going in the right place overall. But the line that he has in his book, everyone uses now.
Is it like
if you change your mind, give me a call.
Okay.
And they just have it like back pocket, right?
Right.
And it reminds me of The Game by Neil Strauss. They had like these pickup lines, and they were in SoCal, and it was spreading like wildfire. And women were like, got to a point where like, yeah, I heard that one before.
It was being used so often.
Yeah, you didn't know that? You got to read the book, The Game.
No. Is that the like pickup artist one?
Neil Strauss. It's an old book now.
But is it a pickup artist one? Is that what we talked about with
It's a pickup artist book, and it's 10, 12 years. It's more than 10. And he now is like, I'm not proud of it. I'm married. I didn't like that lifestyle.
Changed.
Yeah, he's changed.
Okay.
Yeah. So someone recently that has a big podcast was saying they asked him to come on and talk about it. He goes, I don't even want to talk about that book anymore.
Like it's not a part of my life anymore. Yeah.
But people have it in their head like, change your mind, give me a call. And they're like, oh, that's the line. It's like, you can use something different if you want.
Expand on that a little bit, make it your own, but something along those lines. Right.
And they go, yeah, that's how I left it. It's like, all right, it's not bad, but you're allowed to change up the words a little bit. Because I bet there's some people out there like, wow, why are all the guys saying the same thing at the end? It's like training someone in a sales pitch or something, you know? Because every time they're like, yeah, I told her, if you don't want to be friends, you can reach it. Like, it's the same line every time. Number 6, do they even care anymore? I hear this all the time. I don't even think they care about me anymore. Do you think they care about me? Like, they don't even care. It's like, well, that says something about you, because that means that you feel like maybe you weren't good enough, or maybe that was a theme in your relationship, that you didn't get enough attention. Okay, that's all right. Then you need to lick your wounds and work on yourself and get your confidence back up. If you're saying something like, do they even care anymore? Your confidence is really low. You're highly sensitive, and you should probably stay in no contact, because if you get in contact, you're going to create this situation where you're like, you don't even care about me.
And that could be different too, with like maybe the, amount of time that you were with that person. Like if it was a 10-year relationship or a 5-month relationship.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
especially if there's an identity change,
right,
like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Because then you're more like, then you should know, like, they changed because of a job or friends. It wasn't you, and they might not care as much.
Might not care.
Suddenly Sally and Molly and their other friends and all this other stuff is like, it's way more important, and you feel like they don't even care anymore. No, they just switched what lane they care about more, and you were a chapter in the book. Don't take it personal. It happens to a lot of people. Look how I mentioned that with no feelings.
Just none.
I say that, and I've been there. We've been in those situations. You're human. You had enough relationships in life. You've been there. But when you start asking yourself that question, ask yourself a different one. Do they even care anymore? It's like think about what you're asking. How, if you could measure that, which you can't measure care or love with all the things that are scientific studies and Excel spreadsheets. You can't measure that even if you tried. Even if you thought, oh man, they care about me so much, you couldn't even measure it. So what are you trying to do? The fact is, if you are in a breakup and you're in no contact, you'll never know how much they care. But the reality is, caring and love, even post breakup, it's a slow burn. It drip feeds out of a person. It's not like someone just, and even if they're showing like, I don't care, that's just a facade.
Facade for sure.
Right? You can't bleed that out of someone. It's just like if you have a family member or a close friend that you had a fallout with that you don't talk to anymore. Yeah, maybe you're like, oh, they're a jerk, I'll never talk to them again. But just by you talking about them, there's a thin line between love and hate. You don't hate people you never cared about. I'll give you an example. This is kind of random. Basketball, NBA, I always reference NBA.
Here we go. All right.
NBA. I've historically disliked, I would even use the H word, hate.
Oh, I know.
Chris Paul.
I know. There we go.
And he's a great player. He's a winner. So, all-star, all these things. He's just a little dirty player and just a agitator sometimes. And whenever my team, the Warriors, would play them, I think, oh, God, man.
Especially against kind of a rival, Yeah.
I was like, so the Warriors traded for him this year. I'm a big fan. I'm like, oh, man, this is great. There's going to be no turnovers. It's like, we got this guy on our team now. Right? So the fact that it might have seemed like I didn't care about him or didn't like him or hated him, actually, I really respected his game. I didn't like playing against him and not having him on the team. It's the same thing when you're in a breakup. When you're in a breakup, you've been rejected. Now it's like, I hate them. I don't care about them. It's like, would you say that about someone you don't care about? Because when you really don't care about someone, you just don't say anything.
You don't even say it.
Right?
Yeah.
And you literally, like, someone will go on about something and they'll go, anyways, I have a couple of friends like that. You're talking about something, they go, they'll like digest what you're saying. And if they're not interested, they go, anyways, and then they change the subject. That means they don't care about what you're talking about. So when, the minute you think post breakup that because you haven't been talking, that they don't care, they might be busy. They might have someone else they're talking to. They might have a job. They might be biting their nails. You don't know. You don't want to know. You can let your mind massage the idea that they don't care, but don't ruminate on it, please. Number 7, talking to friends that impose their no contact stories on you. Oh my God. Oh, I remember when like my girlfriend, like she, like we broke up, like it was only like 3 weeks, man. She came right back. Like, yeah. Do you want to date his girlfriend? Is she got the same characteristic as your girlfriend? It's apples to oranges. I've told that story before. I never forgot that one. Sunday football at a friend's house. I'm going through it. I'm in the corner, having a couple beers. I'm watching the game. I'm just trying to get through the day because it's no contact blues. 101, where you're just like in a bad mood. You're around people though, and you're trying to keep it cool. You're trying. And it's like, oh yeah, Max just in a breakup right now. And some dude I remember when I was in no contact. My girl came right back like 3 weeks later. I was like, yeah, well, my girlfriend's a little different echelon than yours, dude. Just got a few more options. Thanks, though.
I like that impression, though.
I never forgot that one, man. It was the dumpiest guy in the group, too. You know, like sweatpants Lance, man. Sweatpants on all the time.
Betty, I'm with you. Who sounds like that, man?
Yeah, like, that's all you gotta do, dude. That's all you gotta do, man. And she'll come right back. It's like, I don't even want to ask for a picture of who you're talking about, you know? But like when you're there,
you're
like, oh, his girlfriend came back.
So you start like,
you're like,
the wheels are turning.
And then in your head, you're like, yeah, but my girlfriend's a different situation. I remember thinking like, yeah, no, mine's not coming back. We had different issues, we had different problems. And she's got options. So do I, but she's got options. And she's not just going to go, oh, yeah. Like, never forgot that one. Steve, I think his name was. This was like a friend of a friend. Oh, man. That's all you got to do, man. Because that's what happened to me. Whenever someone starts imposing their story on you, think to yourself, how much is my relationship really like theirs? Might be sometimes. Or how much is my girlfriend really like them? Might be. Not probable. And would you date them? That's a great question when you get advice from someone.
Sure.
You get an advice from someone that's married. It's like, oh yeah, you know, Todd's wife's really nice. She's cool. She's this. It's like, would you marry her? No.
And even then,
stop being nice.
But even then, how much do you even really know? You know, like what's going on behind the scenes and stuff. You don't know. So even comparing,
the only time I'd say you would know a lot,
unless you're really close.
You know when you know a lot, bro, is that if you're really good friend, and like someone like me that actually listens to people's problems for a living, but actually does it for friends also.
Sure. Yeah.
You kind of just fall into it like a snake pit. It's like, hey, can I talk to you about this? It's like, oh yeah, this is what I do. It's like 2 hours later, right? So then you know, but it's still a one-sided perspective. But you know a little bit more about that person because they're dumping all the stuff. It's just biased. But when you think, oh God, they just seem like a great couple. Oh, you see them online and they're just twinkling eyes and they just
putting them up on a pedestal.
Yeah, they just had Christmas cards that they sent out with hot cocoa and sweaters on, and their 2 dogs.
And
it's like
fuck.
They got the life 2 years later. It's like, oh my God, Shelly left Todd yesterday. She's been seeing the boss. It's like,
you don't know. Yeah.
I can't believe it. It's like, yeah, well, pictures do lie. Number 8, thinking, does it work and when? This is probably one of the biggest things that I come across, especially for people that are high achievers, protocol type people.
They want like a finish line
all the time.
When is this going to work?
And these are the people that actually pay for coaching sessions because they're like, all right,
let's get it working.
Yeah, tell me what to do.
Right.
And it's like, stay in no contact. Well, what else do you got for me? Do a couple backflips, gargle backwards, brush your teeth left-handed, tell yourself I love you in the mirror.
Maybe that does like calm them down, or calm them down a bit, when they're in.
I'm making a joke about that, but I'm saying
not specifically like
what I will say to them is this is common for your personality type that you're looking for a protocol. Right. But unfortunately it's counterintuitive. It doesn't work because it basically is it's fishing, which means waiting. But the bait is the no contact, which is like, what? It's like, huh? So thinking, does it work? And you just got to come back. I'm doing this to move on. If you do that first and foremost with the bonus idea that they might call you back, because when you think what's going to work, excuse me, everyone does this. They think what works means how we're going to get back together. And the real idea of no contact is how are we going to meet up and start something new or again? That's a totally different mindset. And a lot of times it's like, I will say this, they can show up on your doorstep, raining, begging you back. and saying I want all in, that happens, and it happens because of no contact and because they miss you.
Happens a lot in movies too.
Right. And it does happen.
Yeah.
It's absolute. It's not a given, but it doesn't happen by you sitting on the sidelines and making a clever letter or figuring out what day that's going to happen. You got to just let it go and be busy, and then get a mindset. People that their exes come back, their mindset is like, I'm done. I'm done. If you wanted a no contact tattoo, like right here, maybe I should get one of those. That would change the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, where did you get that tattoo for? Oh, I was in a no contact experience years back, and I just wanted to remind myself I'm done. Did they come back? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That'd be pretty funny though. That'd be a conversation. What are you done with?
Coach is going all Post Malone. We're gonna go.
It doesn't matter. I'm done.
I'm done.
What's with the I'm done tattoo? Got a minute? You ever been in no contact, man? Let me tell you something that'll change your life. You want to go real no contact, get an I'm done tattoo on your face.
Mm-hmm.
People would do that, man. Maybe we should start that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that?
No.
Would you get a fake one?
Yeah, I'll do fake one.
Where would you get it?
Fake one?
Like right here or right here?
If we're gonna do it, yeah, sure.
A forehead I'm done tattoo? I'm done.
For like a month? How long? I don't know how long they last.
Right? Oh my God.
Just so you
imagine your ex finds that and when their social media stalking is like, did you hear that your ex has an I'm done tattoo on their face? It's like, what does that mean? It's, well, they're done with you.
Pretty clear.
All right. Number 9. What's my chances? Get it all the time. I do have in the works. B, help me out with this. What would you call that? An assessment. 20 questions that you can ask yourself, and it will give you a fucking score.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Someone just asked me recently, well, what's the guarantee of it? There is no fucking guarantee. Mm-hmm. But if you do want some kind of score on what's my chances, I have something for you with 20 questions with a point system, and you can get 63%, 67%. Well, how would I know if I'm 67? Now you're asking too many questions. You just asked me, what's my chances? I'll give you what's my chances. Here you go. Here's 20 questions that have a score that come out. And if you're in the 60% range, that's pretty good.
And that will be dropping in the next probably month or so.
Yeah.
Right?
I already have it. Yeah. I already have it done.
We're just going to clean it up a little bit.
B's just like, let's just wait till we can sell it. I like to give it out for free, but B's like, no, we got to make some money.
We should drop some keys in the live stream, give it to some people, That's what we should do
right now.
In the next month or so.
If you want, I'll tell you this, if you want to see it, you can email me and I'll send it over to you right now. But the right now, I shouldn't say that. Soon. But
not right now. The
cool thing is you got 20 questions that I would ask. And I've asked multiple friends that aren't even in breakups, like, hey, just test this out. What do you think when you're, and they're like, wow, these are good questions. Yeah, I know. I've been doing this for a while. These are the questions that I would ask. They're not just like, what do I do in no contact? Oh, what are my, no, they're specific. Someone asked me, what's the most important question? It's different for different people, but I would say the one that people overlook is what, B?
I don't know.
It's not an answer for fucking YouTube, dude. You got to have an opinion, dude. God damn it.
What's number 1? Tell me.
I would say, are they still attracted to you?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, someone would be like, what do you mean, physical? Partly. But yeah, or your personality or whatever. They're just still attracted to you. If they're still highly attracted to you, and there's some people, they don't like you anymore. You've done bad things. Yeah. You're broke. You're promiscuous, whatever. But they're still highly attracted to you. And someone's like, oh, it's not, that's not what it's all about. Yeah, but that's what differentiates a romantic relationship from a friendship. Right. So it doesn't mean, and so for example, if you break up and your ex starts, showing up with their cleavage hanging out and looking really hot, it's going to get the guy's attention and vice versa. So I would say that that's one, and it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. They're just still attracted to you. They look at you in that way that they like you. Is it number 1 for everyone? No, but it's overlooked because people like to think, especially in the Western world, that's not everything. It isn't everything.
But it's a lot, right?
But it's the heartbeat.
It's a lot.
It's a heartbeat. And then when you're post breakup, if you're not looking your best or doing, like it's, they're not going to come back down that yellow brick road again if that's that case. I would say the other question would be how stubborn they are character-wise,
Right.
specifically for no contact. So if their personality is extremely stubborn and independent, they're going to lean into no contact.
I don't have regrets. Like,
Yeah, you know people like this. And they're going to be like, I'll never call you. That, like, to them, they're like, they look at it as like a challenge that they've beat many times in their life, and they've cut off people in their life before. So this is like,
and that's who they are. Like,
those are the people. They still might want you back. They're just able to go into that mindset as a no contact warrior,
which overcomes that feeling of wanting.
They don't need a tattoo of "I'm done." They've got "I'm done" on their chest, right? Like, it's like all there.
Sure.
Those are the people. It's like, it's not necessarily you did something wrong. It's just how they operate. And so in those particular cases, those are the people that are going to stay out from and they've broken up multiple times and just walked away. And they'll be like, when I break up, I never come back. That's an identity statement.
It's ingrained. Yeah.
And I've had guys tell me that. I've had women tell me that, you know, when I break up, I never come back. I'll never call you again. It's like they want to stick to that. So those people, it's not a given all the time, but it's going to affect the chances. So if you want to know what my chances are, look for that assessment that's coming out. It will help you at least get a number or a score, because if you think about it, it's like I was telling B earlier, one of my clients that I've had for years, he's like, he's laughing when he saw it. And he's like, does this even work? It's not about working. It's about giving you a number.
Get
right?
some info, right?
Because most of the time at the end of my coaching, like, hey, can you give me what's my chances? You know, it's a great answer, 50-50. A lot of times it's 50-50, but if it's not very good, you already know. If they're seeing someone else, no contact's your only thing to do, but also like your chances are low for the right. Who wants to be demoted? Who wants to be, you know, please, hey, can I compete for you now after a 2-year relationship? Excuse me? Just put your ball. All right. Let's see. I haven't touched the live stream for a little bit. This was good today. I haven't been on in a long time. Petty Betty. Hey, B. Petty Betty. Hey, B. Petty Betty. It would be nice if we could see a bigger picture of this Marilyn Monroe Asian thing you got going on here. You see that blind?
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Marilyn Monroe's lost Asian sister. How you doing, Rye Flint? Thanks for checking out. What if you can't afford it? I don't know. What was that question?
Suits. We were talking about the suits, I believe.
Oh, there's cheap suits out there. I used to have them.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when
you had to wear some for...
I used to sell shoes, man. Yeah. Remember I had a dark green suit from like a... Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A dark green suit. I always like the color dark green. And I remember... Come on, man.
I want to see some.
This was... I'm in my 40s now, so when you say pictures, like when I was 21, no one took fucking, hey, let me take a selfie or pictures like
some Polaroids.
Yeah, it was 35 millimeters still, I think. I think that phones just started. I remember I had one of the first phones when I was like 21 or 22 that had video.
Oh, really?
And it looked like a garage door opener.
Yeah.
It was weird looking.
Yeah.
But I didn't go, hold on, like, let's get video.
Yeah.
Let's get, like, it wasn't there. So, no, I don't have any pictures of the dark green suit.
Polaroids, man, come on.
But I remember a girl I worked with that was cute was like, why'd you get a dark green suit? Like, look at, like, what were you thinking? It's like, deep down, you're like, whatever. You like play it cool and you're like, is it bad to wear a dark green suit? You know, like, I still wore it though. I was like, in the back of my head, I was like $99.
And I like it. That's it. I like it.
Is that one of those, you know, depot stores in San Diego?
See, Petty Betty loves it. She likes dark green.
Dark green is my mom's favorite color, so I always like dark green.
She's just a hater. Yeah.
She wasn't just having. She just had an opinion. Well, you know what? If that was me now, I said, thank you for your opinion. Man. You look great today. Right. If I were you, I wouldn't wear green either. People are into that too, like about washing away your skin. You know, certain colors are different for different people.
For different tones.
Yeah, like if you're white, they usually say like, don't wear yellow. It washes away your.
Mm.
You never heard that before?
I don't think I've worn yellow. So I'm not worried about it.
Helps if you got a tan. My old housemate lived by the book Pathetic. Oh, you mean the Corey Wayne book?
No. The pickup artist one. The game.
Everything's got an expiration date on it. But the interesting thing that I think about that now, I think that's a good time in people's lives and they try it. But I would say that this is a new thing the last year. I would say that I've come to the conclusion that the more people you date, men or women, but I would say in my experience as a coach for men specifically. So if you're one of those guys, you're like really good with women and you're wanting to stay single for a while, you're feeling yourself and you're like, yeah, no, I don't want to get married. I want to live this spinning plates lifestyle. Don't have a problem with it. You're just going to be susceptible to hooking one of those crazies that once you get them on the boat, they bite. Like they're coming. Yeah. Like it's like, oh shit, what's this?
I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, I've had multiple clients in the last year that are good with women and date well and date multiple women, are really proud of that. And hats off to them. Good. That's a lifestyle. And there's women that like men that date a lot of women. They find them attractive. And the guys in the pickup community, they've had a lot of fun with that and whatnot. And it seems like that pickup community's kind of died into the manosphere. And,
yeah, I guess that's probably taken over.
Yeah, right? It's taken into a different turn.
Right.
But you're susceptible to meeting someone with bipolar or psychotic episodes or those kinds of things. And you're like, I don't know how this happened. It's like, well, if you get 100 dates with 100 different women, those are the people that are manipulative, right? It's like,
they're trying to, get in there somehow.
Look at the serial killers, right? They're not, people are always like, I never knew.
He was such a good guy.
By the way, whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, when I look at Dahmer, you kind of go, really? You didn't know? This guy looks pretty crazy.
With the glasses.
Maybe that's how they frame him in the thumbnails, right?
Maybe, yeah. You don't see him when he's like peak, trying to hook somebody.
Yeah. It's like, because some of the people that are psychotic killers, they look crazy.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess you're right though because I always see them in courtrooms and stuff. So like, what are they looking like?
My point is though, like if you're going to date many people, you're susceptible to getting one of those ones. And it's not to scare you away because everyone does this. Oh, STDs. Yeah, that's real.
Well, your chances are a lot higher.
Yeah, like everyone goes, that's the biggest thing that can happen to you, right? That's the booby trap around dating multiple people and being promiscuous, right? That's what holds you back. And even in The Rational Male with the great Rollo Tomassi, he's like, well, I hooked up with 43 different people and I never got anything. It's like, would you tell us in your book? Would you tell us if you got something? Number two, good for you, right? Someone else can do 43 and have 5 different things. So, it's a risk, whatever. But I'm saying one of the risks that's not mentioned is getting one of these psychopath, manipulative individuals that has lockjaw, and you're like, I don't know what happened. I've coached people like this, and it's like they're spun. They get out of these relationships 3, 4, 5 years, and you listen to them. It's tough. It's a real thing, and it just has to do with the fact that you're, it's a numbers thing. These people are manipulative. They're camouflage too. It's not like you go, oh, that one bipolar. Oh, that one, that one will rip your heart out in a day or whatever. Instead, people like post, oh, this person had daddy issues. Oh, this person had this. Oh, they had that. It's like, yeah, well, you're going to meet more of those the more you go out. And then that's when someone looks back, hindsight's 2020, myself included. And you go, oh, I should have stayed with Kim. She was so nice. Now that's where the value comes in, right? Where you're like,
other experiences. Okay.
You're like, oh, all right. I haven't read 3%, man. Well, you'll never be a 3% man. Oh, the game.
You don't read it.
Only 3% of the men in the world have these characteristics.
Have they all read the book?
I'm strongly thinking about this, B. I think I've told you before of making a book, The 2% Man.
Well, yeah. I mean, who wants to be the 3, dude?
I'm the point.
Gotta get the 2.
The 0.5% man's coming out in June. next year, but we'll start with the 2%.
Mm-hmm.
What would be
$1 billion? No, I don't know. You got.
I mean, what would be the 1%? Ultra rich, 6'10",
6'10",
not 6 foot,
shredded,
6'10", 6'8", right? Just a species of a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shredded. What else? It's kind of hard when I like women more than men, so
you're trying to put yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, I can think of a 1% woman.
Yeah, we can go there.
It's what's funny is when you come up with that, it's still your version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and everyone goes, no, yeah, that's what it is for everyone. It's like, stop speaking for all men and women.
No.
Right?
I mean, we could talk about generalities, but everybody's different. Sure.
But like a top 1%, I guess it would be ultra rich. God, it's kind of sad that it's that, huh?
Like ambitious.
You know what's crazy is like, I think in the 1800s, early 1900s, it wasn't that. I bet it wasn't that. Because there wasn't, the thing is, there's more rich people than ever before. Like even when I was a kid in the 80s, there wasn't that. Like there wasn't as many people that were loaded.
We were talking about it's the top are getting a lot more, there's more wealth. And
right. The like there's just more with Bitcoin and all these other things. It's like, I think that the value of a guy in the 50s or something like that was probably different. Hardworking,
could just take care of, put a roof over your head.
Yeah. It probably wasn't money first.
Right.
Before Amazon and malls came out.
Well, shit. I mean, medicine wasn't.
It was probably looks and status within the community.
Yeah. Community wise.
That's probably what it was. And if he was a good hunter back in the,
going way back. Yeah. Could you feed me? That was basically it.
Goes back. Money doesn't make you happy. Well, let me try. Let me try that. 3% is mostly for guys, but it's a good read for everyone. Yeah, no, it's good. It's easy to follow. You need to read it 10 to 15 times. People always laugh about that, but I understand his point about that. That's
just do 20. Just do 20 times.
The funny thing is that some of the young guys that I've coached before that read the book 10, 15 times, the one that they're really staunch on, that they overdo a little bit, no woman could be a friend. So like, especially if they're in university, sure. I'm like, I told her I can't be, we're not friends. Like every woman they come across.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I think it gets a little bit over the top with it. You know what I mean? Where you're like, dude, you can improvise.
Wait, but I've been friends with, girls that just I'm not attracted to. Like I'm not attracted to everybody.
But you also, I mean, depending on who you are and the way you are as a person, you can be attracted and still,
sure,
if she's married, be a friend. But like, have a boundary about it.
Sure.
You could still harder, and you could still fantasize about her or whatever you do, right? You could still be like, oh man, like you can still be harmless about it. But they're like, no, the book says.
What do you think of me? Jesus.
The book says I can't be friends with any woman. Like it's false. Like Steve Harvey has a big YouTube video that's out that's like, no man's telling the truth if he's ever friends with a woman. It's like, speak for yourself, dude.
He was saying same thing, like you can't be a friend.
Yeah, like you're fake because that's just not true. What he's saying is translation. That's me. That's okay. But I think that, like you also can make your own rules, or you can make.
There's different types of guys too, though.
Yeah,
like, there's guys that are just.
There is friends of mine that like they couldn't have friends. Right. They get aggressive.
They're trying with
at a party. The girl that was his friend, it's like she's like, I'm a little uncomfortable right now. Can you tell her? Can you tell John to like sit in the corner for a little bit or something?
I think it would be if like you initially are, I'm really attracted to this girl. Do you know what I mean? Like I have like feelings for her. Yeah, I get to know her or whatever. And then like being a friend with that chick might be a little difficult.
I remember I had a friend in high school that, and like this is post high school, like a year after, like when 19 or 20. Well, let's just say 21. And he was like a soft spoken guy, but he was on the football team. He was like O-line center, pretty big guy, but like not a lot, not a lot to talk about, really shy. If he had a few drinks and he didn't drink a lot, he would like wrestle with a girl on the couch.
Oh, he'd get
he'd get like aggressive, but not
in a bad like
but like
a friend kind of way.
You'd have to go over and be like, "Hey, dude,
it's a little much, bro."
Like it's not the wrestling team, dude. It's like The girl's like tapping out,
Right.
like, I don't want to play anymore. He's 250 pounds here.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a situation I had years back. I don't know if I've told this one before. I was visiting my family. When I say my family, my parents, my niece, my nephew,
Close family.
Yeah, close family. Most people would think that was your own kid and stuff. So I was visiting, and they had a cabin in this country area that they had they rented a cabin for years. And this place had like a lake and like, I don't know, 10, 12 cabins around, and there's nothing else out there. And so one of the cabin we were at was really small, had a little deck, and I'm sitting out on the deck talking to my niece, bullshitting, having a couple beers in the afternoon. I forgot what I said. Actually, I remember what I said. And I used to have like a little, just this one right here.
Oh, the little hair.
You know what that's called? It's called a flavor saver. So
you had the flavor saver going. Okay. I never heard that, but yeah.
Friend of mine, they were big when I lived in SoCal. Like everyone had just this. And
is there a real name for it? Like, what's the real name?
It's a flavor saver,
That's not
dude.
what the real name is. What's the real name for it?
It's a flavor saver, dude. So I said that, like, I was, and it was a guy and his girlfriend, and they were probably like mid-20s or something like that, late 20s, and they were just there on their own little weekend thing. But they were
not part of the.
They were like 10 feet from our cabin in a different cabin. And so, like, they were drinking beers by themselves. And by nighttime, they were like, hey, dude, come on over here. Da, da, da. He's like, I heard you with the flavor saver. And I was like, okay, like, listen to our conversation. And so he was just amped up, right? And he was here, and I was like over here. And and they were like, oh, come drink with us tonight, right? And I'm like, all right, I'll have a couple beers. And then they were like, oh, you live in Thailand? Oh, this is cool. And they grew up in like a country area, and one of them was from Tahoe. Okay. She was I forgot what's that part of Tahoe? Like, I think it was Incline or one of those areas, and her dad was in real estate. I don't know, big story. And he was a fireman, but forestry fireman or something like that. God, what a memory. He's a big guy, kind of, and he goes, so we were drinking and something happened. They're like, oh, and this is before you could, I think they were going to smoke weed, right? Or something like that. And so they went into the cabin. We go in the cabin, and it was a smaller cabin, and I wasn't going to smoke. And so they were like, and this dude like throws me on the bed, like, to wrestle. And I was like, whoa, dude.
Unexpected?
Yeah. I was just like, like, hey, the rough house.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're like,
bro, I'm in my 30s, dude. I'm like, I don't want to play. Like, and he's like, and she's like, calm down to him. And he's like, he gets a little aggressive when he drinks. Jesus. He's just playing. And I'm like, dude, we're in like a 10-foot cabin. He just closed the door, like, in my head. Yeah. I was shooken up, dude. Big guy. You know what I mean? Like, sure. Right. I just
probably been a while since you've been.
So I just sat in the corner, like, had my beer, and he's like, "Oh, you don't like to, I used to wrestle in high school and stuff." I didn't wrestle. I was like, I'm not into it really. And she was like, "Oh, just calm down." And he was like, "Come on, yeah." He was like amped. He was amped up, right? I left shortly after that.
You had the beer and then bounced.
Yeah, not into wrestling.
I'm
just too much of an adult at this point in my life. The funny thing is, too, like, as men, you're gonna get in a fight
eventually. Well, that's probably what he's looking for. You know
what I mean?
Something. Yeah,
you're gonna take it too far.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the mood. We're in the cabin. We're in the woods. Like, I don't know you.
This could take a wrong turn easy. Do you know what I mean?
But I mean, I've known guys over the years that are friends that, like, they wrestle around or headlock, and it always ends up someone gets hurt.
Yeah, but usually that's with like close friends that right? That you're.
I never liked it. We never really. You were on the wrestling team, right?
No, never.
One of those onesies.
Never. Never. Those guys are another level, though. Like the intensity. I have a few friends that are into it with the cauliflower ears.
Yeah. I respect it.
Oh,
I respect it. Just don't throw me on the bed in a cabin and fuck after we had a few beers and like, hey, let's go, man. No, not me. I'm looking for the fucking fire exit, man.
This isn't the UFC, bro.
Gargle backwards. What's up, BW? Clocking in for the night, fellas. Thanks for the great advice over the years, Mac. Tommy, it's all good. We can call you TD. I give good advice to family and friends, but for myself, I need Mac to confirm my feelings. Well, that's good. I take that. Well, probably when you give advice to your family and friends, you're channeling some of the things I tell you, right? I'm just joking. It would suck if they came back. Yo, Rob, just digging the Mac energy tonight. Yeah, it feels good to be back on deck. It's been a while. I feel like I haven't had a coffee in years, and it's only been 2 days, and it's like fucking jet fuel. Take a 2-day sabbatical from coffee, and then have it one day. You're like, oh, this is working extra nice today.
Yeah.
People don't realize when I come on, a lot of times in the States, you guys are at night. It's noon right now. Just hitting stride. Do you have any tattoos, B?
No.
Come on, tell the truth, dude.
I got none.
He's got a faded peace sign.
I'm just going to get the first tattoo. I'm just going to get full sleeve. So I'm going to go full out on my first one.
Remember there was a girl I dated that she had like a faded peace sign on her hip that was like I was like,
when did you get this?
Yeah, it was faded and it was just like, oh, that's creative.
Peace and love.
Yeah. And it was like, do you got any other ones? No, that's the only one I got. Wow, man, that took a lot of thought.
I saw a girl here the other day. She had she was fairly attractive, and she had a full back tattoo of the cartoon, like Lilo and Stitch. Like she had like a cartoon animal.
Attractive.
Yeah, I was like, well, this.
You got a picture?
No. I thought, oh, she's cute. And then she had this like full blue like cartoon character on her back, like full back tattoo. I was like, wow.
How did you see her full back?
It was like, like a low, like
bikini?
No. It's like just like a little dress or something, and you could see her whole back.
What a perv, man.
She was in line. She was in line at the store. A full like you can't miss it, dude. A full blue back.
It reminds me, I was at the beach maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. Go to the beach a lot, but some girl had a tattoo that I was like staring at on her leg. And she was on
Don't stare, dude.
No, because I forgot what the tattoo was. It was one of those ones with a lot of colors, and I don't know, it was
interesting,
like a bird or something like that. And I was looking at it, and I had just gotten out of my little meditation on the beach. So when you come out of your meditation, if anyone meditates, like you get focused, like afterwards. Don't drive a car or anything, because you're like you're off.
You're not.
And I was just like staring. And then her boyfriend was like 10 feet behind her. And this dude, like, I turn up and I look after staring.
And he's
like,
he's mugging.
He's like, looks at me like, and I'm like, I wanted to say, I was just looking at her tattoo and I'm like, just don't even say anything, dude. You know, like,
I always think when you see interesting tattoos like that, don't you want to kind of show it off? You know what I mean?
Like, I mean, she was in a swimsuit and she did have,
you're on the beach,
some assets, but like, I was looking at the calf on the tattoo on the calf, but it was funny because I looked up and he was like, it's the tattoo, man. It's the tattoo. Should have went up to her, you know?
Yeah.
And she saw me looking. She was friendly about it. Probably made it worse. Ask me. Petty Betty has many. Petty Betty, do you have any tattoos? If you changed your name from Petty Betty, what would you change it to? I think it's a little bit long-winded.
Petty Betty? Don't change. I like it.
You like Petty Betty?
I like it. Don't change.
Betty. It's kind of an old name.
Betty? Yeah, Betty is. Wasn't it?
He said that right away. He's like,
no,
yeah.
It's a cartoon.
He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, it is.
It's a cartoon.
So the only people I know that were women that had that, they're all over 50, 60 years old.
Isn't it like Betty Bop or something?
Betty Boop?
Betty Boop. Is that what it was?
It's funny you said that because my grandma liked Betty Boop. Bethany. It wouldn't sound the same if it was Petty Beth.
No. Doesn't have the same ring.
If you gave yourself a new name, what would it be? That's a good question. People, it's funny because it's How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is like one of the all-time most bought self-improvement books from like the 1920s. It's an old book. They have a whole chapter on
the 20s.
It's pretty old. Look it up. Just go ahead and look it up so you can just go, no, it's not.
It was 95.
It's like when I used to have sports conversations. One of my friends, when the internet first came out, he'd go in the bathroom and come back and be like, "You're wrong, dude. It's actually this." But he wouldn't say he got it from the internet.
Do you remember right before that when you could text a company, like you would text them this number and they would give you information on? I think they had a commercial before it even like you could text them, hey, who was the all-time home run leader or whatever, you know, and they
Was that before someone could use Google?
Yeah, right before Google, you could text this company and find out that was their thing.
This guy would argue that like, and I was good with stats or remembering something, and he'd go, "Yeah, that one was wrong." It's like, why was there a delay, dude? Why were you so strong on it before, and then you had to go to use the toilet real quick, and then you come back, and you're like, "Yeah, you want to make a bet? Did you check your phone, Joe?" How to Win Friends and Influence
36.
People. I was close.
You were close.
It's fucking ancient.
Years,
It's almost 100 years old. So it's Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie's like a legend. He's one of the first.
I think he'd been doing it since 1912, like that.
Yeah,
kind of
Dale
thing.
Carnegie's like the first version of Tony Robbins or one of those. He had like self-improvement. He has a whole chapter on calling people by their name. When I read it, I'm like, I knew this one already, dude. This is supposed to be a legendary book.
Well, I mean, you're telling people,
but it's really important when you go, "Hey, how you doing, B? Hey, how you doing, Mac?" Now, here's the thing: you'll know how important someone's name is when you get their name wrong. It's like if I met Rob in Canada and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, eh? It's a little cold out there, eh?
That one, I love it.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs have been playing pretty well, eh?" And it's like, "What's your name?" "Rob." And next time I saw him, I'm like, "What's up, Tom?" People instantly go like, "I don't like this person" when they get when you get a name wrong.
That's true. Like
being Mac for years, a lot of, "Hey Max, hey Matt." So it's Mac. It's Mac. MAC. What I'll do now, because you just adjust to it. MAC. Oh, MAC, not MACK. Whatever you want to make it.
What's the difference? All right,
it's just how I spell it, right? But people like if you get their name wrong, they'll be like, No, it's this. No, it's that.
They get triggered.
There's a study out there that says that if you name your kid Dennis, they're much more likely to become a dentist.
Because they just associate.
So like so I've thought about nicknaming my kid Money or King or
yeah.
Like name them that, and some people do, and then that's where you get the alter egos, right? Like Deion Sanders is
Prime.
Prime. So you said you saw the John Gotti,
just the first
documentary
episode. Yeah,
I watched all three, and it was good. It's pretty good.
I thought it was pretty. At least
just a well done documentary.
It was done by the same people did another one that was popular. I forget which one.
If you're gonna say that, you got to say who the people are, dude.
All right,
come on, man. But what's interesting is like the whole case was built on wiretaps every time. And the crazy thing is this dude goes to court 2 times, right? And he beats it with wiretaps, right? Whatever, it was circumstantial. And one of the this is funny. One of the things in court with a jury is he goes, "Bust him up." And they're like, "We all know what bust him up means." And I'm like, this would be your case for him ordering a hit on someone? Like that's
pretty.
I mean, if I was a juror, I'd be like, I believe he probably did it, but I mean, like that's not. Oh yeah, bust him up. I mean, and they were like, that was the most significant thing that he said. Anyways, he got off twice with wiretaps. So you'd think like the second time, everywhere he was at, you'd think the guy would be like, let's comb the place for bugs. Don't you think that would just be common sense to me? Right. I guess the guy just thought he was completely bulletproof because he got off 2 times. So he was meeting in like some lady's apartment, like some discreet location, and they had that wiretap too, and he didn't know. So like the FBI agent that they finally got him on something that he was saying in that apartment, and he knocked on his window. He's like, "Hey, John, I think we're going to get you this time." He goes, "Yeah, right. You never get me." He's being cocky about it. And they're like, well, we heard you say something in the apartment above, and he went, and they said he went, "Oh." It's like, why wouldn't, if you got caught 2 times on wiretaps already, it's like, why wouldn't you comb the place with one of those metal detector type things or something, dude? But one of the things that's interesting about him and tells you about ego-based people, he would say, I'm John Gotti. I, John Gotti. He would start sentences. I, John Gotti. Like, try calling that guy
a different name.
Hey, is your name Matt?
Not happening.
You know who I am? Hey, John. That was interesting. He became like a movie
I
star.
know, that was the thing. It's like he was so well known. Everybody kind of loved him. It was funny when they were doing interviews of people like asking about, what do you think of John? Oh, he's great, man. He's just like, this mobster.
They really want. The funny thing in the documentary was that the FBI and then the special task force in New York for they were competing.
Yeah.
So they had their own ego problem.
Yeah. Oh, they did, and they kind of go through it in the doc. They're like talking about the other, special agent. Oh yeah, he's got his.
They interviewed this one guy, and he's at like an Italian restaurant that he owned, and it says like mobster underneath, and he's probably in his 70s or something, and his name's Sal.
Sal, yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm. He was a witness, I think. Right?
Yeah, and so he was a witness, and but he had his own restaurant, so they're interviewing him. He's like, yeah, so there was there was a guy that was one of the maid men's wives. He was banging the maid men's wives, and that's just, you can't do that. So I went over there in a UPS uniform and went to the door, and she answered. I pushed her to the side, and I threw the guy down on the pool table, and I cut his balls off. Mm-hmm. And he smiles. I was like, Jesus.
Right.
Talk about worst case scenario for any man in the world. Right? Uh-huh. And he goes, how to do it.
What? Yeah.
So it's like, and you're just still walking around. You got John's restaurant downtown after an atrocity like that, right?
I do. Oh my God.
So what happened is that same guy flipped on John Gotti, like he was going to narc on him or rat on him.
Which is a no-no. And like, you're doing the same. Okay.
He was going to rat, or he did. He took
those stand. Are the worst people to them.
So it was like, he took the stand, right? Mm-hmm. And so what was interesting is because they knew all the dirt about each person that was a rat on him. Mm-hmm. So they were like, oh, tell us about that time you cut the balls off the other guy. It's like the jurors instantly are like, this guy's doing it? And he said, I had to tell the truth. Yeah, I was on the stand. So I said, yeah, I did it. Mm-hmm. It's like, what did they ask one more? Well, what'd you do with the balls? What do you do? I mean, would you just throw them on the ground? Fuck, you don't want to talk about it. It's uncomfortable, huh?
I don't.
That's the kind of a story that leads to bad dreams, man. Like that's one of those ones where you're like, yeah, I don't want to even talk about it anymore, dude. Look at this. They got if you are white, don't wear yellow. Rob says ? And Petty Betty. That's true with hair color. Okay. So white hair, no yellow. What about wasn't he gay though? Who are you talking about?
Dahmer.
Oh, Dahmer?
Dahmer. Yeah, he was gay. He was gay.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
You didn't watch the show? It's a good show. The guy killed it. Oh, what are you trying to say, Mac? Huh?
Was it I'm just joking. What was it? Was it a documentary or a real?
No, it was like a well done.
To be honest, like he looked
really.
That's a bad dream type movie.
Oh God, yeah. It freaked me out, dude. Like
when I was a young kid, a young lad, a little chap, like 8 or 9, my mom would we could watch anything we wanted. It wasn't good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I remember there was a story of a kid being abducted when he was like 7 or 8 and never making it home for 10 years.
It's like Unsolved Mysteries or something.
Dude, that fucked with me for a year walking home from school, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would see
it stays with you too when you're young. I would see
like a similar looking car, and I was. It was like I was in the Olympics, dude.
You're like hiding in the bushes.
Fuck.
Dude, we used to walk home. There'd be some sketchy people sometimes, dude.
He lured men to his apartment. I think that's what I remember watching.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, there's a lot of women that have done that too, probably. Or the last victim that escaped was a man. Yeah, his story was dark. And that was my point. To get back to my point, that if you date a lot, man or women, and I'm not trying to scare anyone, because like I said, everyone goes into the STD thing, which is real. Mm-hmm. It's not fake or whatever. That's the go-to. That's the other thing, is you can end up with, a Dahmer. There was a guy I worked with in San Diego that claims he used to date, I want to say Andrew Kunani? No, that's not it. That's a rap song.
I don't know.
It's a Biggie song. What's the name of the guy that in Florida that killed a bunch of people? He killed Gucci or one of these people.
I don't know this one. Wait, when was
I forgot his name. There's a movie about the guy who's strange. Surprise. And this guy was like, I dated him, and he was gay also.
He's a serial killer?
Yeah, he like I said, he killed, was it Gucci or the other one? Who's the guy in Florida that got killed? That was a can you Google who killed Gucci? Or is that, man, it's going to bother me now. Well, there's something already labeled a 2% man. Well, there is something already labeled a 2% man. Well, there you go. I'm going for 1%. What set one apart from others? A 2% man is already defined. Sometimes money matters more than a man's look. Oh, really? Sometimes? Speaking for yourself?
Gucci's killer was a woman, it says. Or she was the master.
All right, who's the if there's Gucci's
ex-wife, Patricia?
Yeah, that I knew I was wrong right away because I seen the Gucci movie. But what's the other Italian company that makes popular clothes that's really expensive? God damn it. B?
Under Armour?
No, it's not Under Armour. My garden.
What is going on back there?
Yeah,
what's happening?
It's funny because I changed the spot where I talk on the mic, and there's two big windows right out on the street. So I hear something, I always look out, and someone's like, "You got to go." It's like, no. Okay. Oh, I know 2% means. Thanks. A flavor saver. I think I saw that listed in the vape store here.
I'd never heard of that before.
You never heard that one?
I never.
Yeah, the guy that was in the next cabin, he thought that was. Do you figure it out?
No, I can't find the.
What's the top? What's the top expensive Italian brands? Gucci. What's the other one? It's gonna bother me.
Dolce and Gabbana. It's got to be that one.
That's the one. Yeah. Who killed him? Brand new Skinner. How you doing? Thrown on the be lucky he didn't have a wandering hand. No, it wasn't like that, Rob. It wasn't. I didn't think he was. He had a girlfriend and everything. He just was roughhousing, and I just was like, kind of like, whoa. Guy was trying to get some Greco-Roman thrusting, and damn, don't get flames, please. Hello, everyone. What's up, Sabina? Interesting topic. I think people's unsolved traumas trigger them during no contact. Sure. Possibility. Betty is my salon name. Betty is the name of a casino. Ravias is like, I don't talk like that. I don't have a Canadian accent. It's like I met someone. I was at the sauna yesterday, and there's a big sauna here, and you're in the sauna, and the girl was. It's funny when you live abroad, you recognize American accents. Me and B have talked about this before, so you're kind of intrigued because you're like, oh, word. Because when you live here, it's British, it's
Australian,
Swedish. Like everyone's got a little different accent, so you'll hear the American accent. Sometimes they're Canadian. And she's like, oh, I'm from Boston. I'm always tempted to be like, how about the Sox? Manny Ramirez. Oh, it's wicked. I used to have some neighbors that were from Boston. Hilarious accent. Ben W says, put a quarter in Mac today. I have no accent of that nature. We all, the funny thing is, no one thinks they have an accent, but everyone does. Right? And it's not till you're in a different area that someone's like, oh, cool accent or bad accent.
Bad accent? Like,
well, I mean, there's some accents that you're like, I like.
I mean, I guess you couldn't understand someone, but like a bad accent.
Because English is so used, that has the most accents. Because someone will be like, oh, that's just broken English, but it also has a different accent from a different place with different tones and everything like that.
I mean, even in the States, though, you know, people from New York or the South or whatever.
There ain't nothing Mac and B are like in a cafe and we are listening.
Is that good? Do you guys like that?
Rob, do you know Hard Factor show on YouTube? Excuse me, a Hard Factor? I don't even want to know.
What is
Guys have huge Instagram followers on YouTube, not so big yet. They're called the Hard Factor.
Hard Factor. Let's see.
Chaley, happy Halloween. Is it Halloween? Oh, yeah, it is Halloween today, huh? In the state, because we're a day ahead. So it's November 1st where I'm at. Ah, Versace. That's what it is.
Versace. That's why I couldn't find it. All
it's
right,
Versace. So
right.
who killed? Thank you. Of course, Petty Betty knows Versace.
The chat for help. Come on.
So whoever killed him, which was like at his doorstep. That's
is that did they make a?
They made a movie about it. And you know what's funny is how, some people, people go, "Oh, I've met this famous person before," and sometimes I'm like, I wouldn't tell people you met that one.
Andrew Cunanan.
So I was close. Cunanan.
Yeah.
Cunanan. I said Cunani. Cunanan.
Oh, you were? Yeah.
I was close. I guess he was like a gay predator or something. Like he did. I don't know the whole story, but so this guy I worked with was like, "Oh yeah, I dated him once." I'm like, and he's like, he sicked his dogs on me. He had 2 Dobermans, and he like sick and I was like, "Did you leave?" And then another guy that I worked with. This is when I lived in San Diego, because in San Diego, a lot of people vacation there that are pretty wealthy. And this other guy was like, "Oh yeah, I've met Ike Turner." And I was like, "Ike Turner?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got his autograph." I was like, "Ike Turner, you got his autograph, dude? Have you seen the movie?" This guy's like highly abusive to his wife. He goes, "Yeah, it might be worth a cup of coffee one day." I'm like, "What, on the back of a shoe box lid or something?"
I don't think I've ever asked anybody
for an autograph.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, when I was a kid, I did.
Oh, you know what? I stood in line sometimes. Actually,
yeah, when I was a little kid for baseball.
Yeah, I got
when you'd get
John Madden. I got John Madden.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it was cool.
Ricky Henderson was the best one I had in person. That was my favorite baseball player as a kid. He was a legend. But it's funny, like living in Thailand, I had all this stuff. Not a lot of autographs or anything. Maybe like 3. I had Pete Rose. My dad was always like, Pete Rose is like legend. Pete Rose, Ricky Henderson, and I forgot who it was. Maybe Willie Stargell or something like that. Some random legendary baseball players. But Ricky Henderson I got in person. And then after living abroad, I was like, what do you even have these for? And I gave it to my cousin when I was like in my late 20s. And he's like, thanks, man. He like hung it up and put it in his garage. He's like, why are you giving this away? And I was just like in my head, like, this doesn't even have that much value. It's like if I did, and now, even if you wanted to resell it, you have to prove that it was real.
Yeah, you have to buy it.
Back in the day, you would have autographs, so you wouldn't do that.
Oh,
it would just be like,
you have to get them certified or something.
And, so I was like, oh yeah, you can have all this stuff. I had some like pins and different things. It's like, oh, man.
I've got some like Cal Ripken in storage right now.
It just grew out of it.
I mean, it'd be cool if I had like a separate office right now. I guess I could throw in like something make something cool. I don't know.
He did kill Versace, yeah. The police actually took one of his drugged underage victims back to him after the kid had escaped and was trying to get help. Wow.
The police took him back. Oh, wow.
Guys are great. Talk about different news topics. I love the way they do it. My sense of humor. Oh, the Hard Factor does that? Me and B are actually talking about doing a different style that has a little bit more of a format.
Yeah.
Gucci's wife paid to kill him. All right. That's so funny whenever you talk about popular news, people are like, get it straight. Excuse me. People are like, Prada? Tom Ford? Kamali?
I have an accent? Sabina says I have an accent?
So annoying. I know you're not talking to me. Tom, is he Louis French? Oh, you mean Louis Vuitton? Fendi? I always think it's interesting when you see someone with LV shoes. It's like it's a bag. I wouldn't buy the bag either. Versace, I watched the documentary. Okay, got it. Okay.
Just tell Mac he's wrong. No, you're actually right on that one.
BW says, how strong is my Midwest accent? I don't know. I don't feel like you have a very thick accent. You have a Boston friend visiting. Be more of this talks. It's great, like podcast. You don't have Riflin says, I'm a bad accent. What, because you're Australian? I mean,
so I'm saying there's no bad
Australian accent. Is a terrible. If you went to America, people will think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think people like British accents quite a bit. But the interesting thing, if you know people specifically from England,
there's a lot of
yeah, they
variation.
vary
Yeah.
quite a bit. So here's a funny thing: a friend of mine yesterday, when I was at the sauna, a lot of people there, sauna, ice pool, all this stuff. It's kind of a cool place to talk and stuff like that. And I said, "Who's that?" Like we both have a mutual friend. I said, "Who's that guy that he hasn't been back in a while?" And he's like, "Cole." And I'm like, no, it's not that. I forgot his name. Cole. And I'm like, no, he's tall. He's got reddish hair. He goes, yeah, Cole. And I said, no, it's not. And I go, yeah, he moved over. He goes, yeah, Cole. And I go,
Cole?
It's Carl. And he goes,
Carl.
yeah, that's what I said. And I'm like, oh, it's your accent, dude. Right. Cole. Yeah.
Well, here they have, they definitely have some. I think when we say like central, it's the L sound. Thais have a problem saying that the O. You notice, like when they say,
give me an example.
Centron. They'll say centron.
Yeah.
They won't go central.
L and R get mixed up. Yeah. You get used to it though. It doesn't even bother me. I know how to communicate that way. Yeah.
Just heard it so many times.
Yeah. Accents are different for different people, right? I don't know if there's ones that are worse than others. There's certainly people out there that like an accent.
I don't have any problem with Australian. I love Australian.
Shaylee just said, yeah, she loves Australian too. I think Australian sounds similar too. It doesn't vary a lot.
Mm-hmm. Like different parts, I'm sure.
Australian people, to me, in my experience, are really friendly. What's interesting, I feel like Kiwis, New Zealanders, they don't have as much of an accent. We have a good friend we thought about bringing on. He's got a little bit of an accent, but not.
No, you could. Yeah, it's not too hard.
It's not as strong as Australian. No. B has an accent. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
We both do, because if we were in Europe, people would go, fucking Americans.
They would say that, man.
We're not popular in Europe if you're an American. That's why when people go, where are you from? I'm from California. I've actually
California is kind of
actually known people that are like, where's that?
When you say California?
Yeah, there's some people that are, just low, they just didn't have geography in class when they were young.
Yeah. I say San Francisco.
You say you're from San Francisco?
Like area.
And you're an hour away from San Francisco too. Huh?
Hour? No, I was like 30 maybe.
Fremont is you got to go over
35.
the bridge.
If there's if there's traffic, which there usually is.
There's a whole bridge to go over. Yeah.
No, but depending on what part of Fremont you're coming from, it's pretty long, It's pretty big.
I guess so. Like I said,
it can take like 40 minutes to go from one end.
It's just a way to tell someone a landmark area that's close to where you're from. I get it, because most people, everyone knows San Francisco usually. Then they got a story. Oh, I've been to San Francisco before. I was on the trolley. And,
right. Oh, you did the trolley.
Yeah, that was for the cannibal. He was a cannibal.
Oh, Dahmer.
Dahmer
was a cannibal. I think
that's another level.
Because I think I watched the first episode, maybe the first.
That's such another level.
Yeah. But I think he like kept them.
You like your steak? Oh. Why is it this? It's funny because someone just told me their nickname's Clarice, and I was like, "You like the Silence of the Lambs?"
Yeah.
That's 30 years old now. Yeah. That's such a long time ago. Some people don't know.
Such a good movie.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. That
freaked me out. Yeah.
That like the I just get
that's Hopkins' signature.
Oh
movie.
Yeah, that's
actually the guy that has the well in his house. He's pretty. sadistic.
The actual guy who's
that was
dancing around and doing that.
Yeah. That's
he's like, oh my god,
like that's one of those ones. If you're too promiscuous on these dating apps, you could meet one of those.
Fucking someone like that. They'll keep you in a fucking well. Oh my god.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Put the lotion on. Yes, B. I hear singing when you speak fast. Okay. Ooh. Were you a singer before?
Maybe I should have.
You were in the choir or something.
A different path.
A little pitch to your voice.
I'm pretty good. Like in the shower, I think I'm pretty good.
I guess there is some people that just have an annoying voice, or actually, I would say that some Americans do.
Okay,
like
I catch myself. I do that.
You do like a lot. You do like a lot, and then when I talk
to
you, I do it sometimes. But
I think you don't do it first, and then I think I get it.
No,
yeah, I think that's.
But when people draw it out, I don't know. Like we were gonna go to them. Like
We always used to call that like the Valley Girl.
Now it's way more common.
Yeah.
They just draw it out. Those are some pricey shoes.
Trying to think of what's the most I've spent on shoes. Probably basketball shoes. Probably I dropped 150. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, like those
150.
Jordans and stuff like that are
Crazy
200 plus,
expensive.
right?
Now.
Are they 3?
I'm sure. I mean, there's so many out there. Like you can get, limited edition ones or something.
Funny. Maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I was visiting my nephew, and we went to the Nike outlet store, right? Like America has the outlets, so they have all these different Nikes and stuff, and they had a new type of Jordan. I thought those are cool, even though I don't really wear Jordans anymore. And I was messing around with my nephew because he likes them. I'm like, I think I'm gonna get those ones. He's like, yeah, you get those ones. You're like, yeah, those are cool. And I was like, yeah, but I would only wear them for basketball. He's like, you don't wear those for basketball?
What the hell are you doing?
What? No.
Don't wear those. What's wrong with you?
No, you can't wear them for basketball. I'm like, they're basketball shoes. It's like, nah.
Why would you even say that, dude? That's blasphemy.
It's funny because my nephew's like 22, 23 now. And so we were there, and ever since he was young, he's just when he roams or he walks, he's just a slow walker.
And by the way, Mac is a ridiculously fast walker. So let's just throw that out there.
When I've started dating different women, they're always like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I just walk. I'll lose you. I'll fucking lose you.
I remember like we were going to a restaurant one time. And you were pacing.
I walk fast.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't even keep up with you right now. How are you walking this fast?
I walk fast. I've been told that many times. And so my nephew's like the opposite. He kind of waddles.
He's a mover.
He strolls.
He's a stroller
like this. So I was like, look, and he was, and then he's at an age now where like we're close, but I feel like sometimes I'm cramping his style.
Like it's a
so I'm like, he won't say that, but he'll just get it. Like he'll keep his distance. Or when I'm like, hey, Ray, come on. He's like,
yeah.
Right. So I was like, all right, dude, I'm going to go to this other store. Right. And, like, I don't have a phone because I was visiting. And when I'm visiting, the phone doesn't work in the States.
Oh, you did? Okay. You didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. Right. Mm-hmm. So I said, you got to come over there because I had the car. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I'll just wait over here. Like, I'll just wait. Like, I'll just post. And I'm like, all right, if you want, but I'm going to go to a few different stores. Like, you don't want to come with? And he's like, no, I don't want to walk. I don't want to catch up with it. I'm like, all right. So
he knows you.
I was like, I don't have a phone. So if it's a while, I'm telling you now. So he goes, so I come back and it's like dark. I'd been gone for like an hour and a half looking around at other stores or something. And I come back and he like comes out of like a grassy area out of the cuts. And he's like, where have you been? I said, I told you I don't have a phone. So if you don't want to go with me,
you're going to be
right. Yeah. Like you don't want to catch up. And I was like, you're gonna have to wait. And he's like, dude, he's like, I had the cops pressing me for loitering around the parking lot.
What are you doing to him, Mac? Jeez.
So he stayed on the grass by me because they thought he was trying to steal cars.
Yeah. Jesus.
He's blaming me about it. I was like, I told you. He's like, I don't want to keep up with you.
It is a problem, I'm going to say. It is a problem.
I've been told that a lot.
You just slow it down, Mac. Slow it the fuck down.
All right. Oh my God. I love Thai food now. Thai food's good.
Thai food is really good.
Take it for granted.
Spicy, a lot of flavors. You like spicy? You like spicy?
Yeah. Now I do. I didn't like it before.
I'm ridiculous, dude. I go crazy.
Actually, when I go back to the States and get like a plain, like
it's too plain.
Mashed potatoes and like regular food, it tastes a little. I won't need to put hot sauce on all my food, but I'm comfortable having spicy food.
You know, I bought my mom actually had it when I went and visited. Was like the hot oil stuff. I was putting that on everything.
Hot oil,
yeah, like the
chili oil.
Oh, it's kind of like I think maybe Chinese style or whatever. It's so good. But I was putting that on all like fish. I was putting it on everything.
Love all accents. A foreign man will get me going. Dahmer was a cannibal. He made skin suits. So he wore from his victims. Jeez, that's a lot of information. Little track suits.
Oh my God. See, Thai food is your favorite. See, I think there's so many. Like everywhere I go, I always see Thai restaurants.
And California has a lot.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I wouldn't even say they're Thai. The thing about Thai food,
Mm.
it's not like going to a burger place where it's like you know what you're getting. Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
it's always different food. With it has the same name for the dish, but the food's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. And if it's cooked in a style that, if it's like a Thai person that's from Bangkok or Chiang
Yeah,
Mai
like
or
some
something
of them
like
will
that, it's
go,
different.
oh, this person can't handle a
Mhm.
spicy meal, and so you'll get it, and it's supposed to be spicy, and then you'll get it, and you'll be like, oh, this doesn't taste like Penang curry. or-
It's funny. My parents visited like right after my daughter was born, and we went to it's 5-star, like one of the nicest hotels that you could stay in, and one of their restaurants that was there, and it was like some soup that we ordered, and it had zero spice. I would go with my wife, and we would
That's what I
eat
was
the
gonna
same thing at a different, like a real Thai restaurant, and it
because you
was
know
like,
the dish.
you know the dish like the back of your hand, and it's tasted nothing like it.
It's like the first time I had Penang curry here, I think I was like, like I was like,
Yeah. Right.
like,
Mm-hmm.
and my girlfriend at the time was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I was like,
Just give me
Water.
a second.
and then I ordered it, like it was spicy, but it was
Mhm.
good. And then I ordered another time, it was like peanut sauce. It's like totally different. And that's how it is sometimes. It's funny when I've had friends too, like, oh, I like spicy, and they come to Thailand,
You
I'm like,
don't know.
make it spicy, and I've seen them like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, that's like, I was like, dude, you asked for
You
it,
asked for it. They're gonna give it to you.
because Mexican food's spicy, but I don't think
Mhm.
it's maybe spicier here. I guess it
different-
depends on.
yeah.
It's different though.
It's a different type.
Interesting thing, they have Tabasco here.
Yeah, they all most places do.
It's amazing about some of those.
That's not too spicy to me though. Tabasco, is that spicy for you?
It's like vinegars in it.
It's not.
Huh?
Yeah, it's not super spicy though.
It's just kind of funny that made it here.
I know.
You think-
I use it all the time though.
yeah,
Especially for like
and there's no fake Tabasco.
no, it's Tabasco.
You don't get like a artificial Tabasco. It's only Tabasco. Shaylee says, I haven't paid more than $200 for shoes.
I don't even think 200s.
I get my shoes secondhand now.
What was the most expensive ones like when you sold? What were they like?
Thousands,
right?
when you were like where I worked
At Nordstrom's.
that
right?
was the first time I was like, oh, shoes are this
Like that
expensive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
Mhm.
no clue. And then even what surprised me when I was selling shoes like that were expensive for the first time, even shoes that were ugly, like Echoes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get in trouble for saying the brand. The
I
brand
think I might.
ECOO.
Yeah, Echo.
The most comfortable shoes. Like,
Right.
so I'm gonna compliment them. Like,
Right.
like I would wear them.
Isn't that
for
the
work.
same thing as like
They-
Yeezys?
like the style of them was,
Right.
vanilla. It was like they didn't look, but they'd be
Mhm.
like $180.
Mhm, just because of the Echo.
Not that, but I mean, they were comfortable.
quality.
Yeah, they were just, you'd put them on, and you're like, wow, this is
Mhm.
really comfortable. So yeah, back then, probably the median price for shoes were like $140, and that's 20 years ago. So probably doubled,
Double. Yeah.
right? And like boots,
Mhm.
like boots up to the knee, those are like minimum 200.
Oh, because that's leather.
So those
shit,
are
yeah.
300, 400.
Mhm.
But yeah, I remember thinking like, wow,
They can go up that high.
yeah, like the
Mhm.
shoes were expensive. And then when I worked in San Diego I worked in a department that it was just the expensive stuff,
Mhm. Only.
the only
Top level.
designer stuff. And this particular store was like an upscale store,
Mhm.
or part of the store. Some of them were 700, 800. But those are the shoes that would get returned.
Let's just wear them out for a night.
Yeah,
Return them.
the place I worked at, they return stuff really easy. So I think there was a couple of brands that were designers that people loved, but they weren't comfortable. So they'd bring them back and they'd be like, "Oh my god, they were so uncomfortable." It's like, yeah, you just bought them for style. Look at the style of the shoe. It's
But isn't that the thing? Like, keep the tags on, wear it out for a night. And then
I never did that,
I've
but
never-
yeah, like
sure.
that, you get introduced to things in different jobs. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, hunting boots. Ben says his hunting boots were $240. I'm sure you can drop some pennies
actually,
on that.
BW. My dad wore Red Wings for years.
Oh yeah, I know those.
And those were
Mhm.
like, you only went to a Red Wing store for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I remember being the kid, like, there's nothing in there I
Mhm.
wanted.
Mhm.
Like, it wasn't like, hey, can I get a pair of those Red Wing sneakers, or
Right,
you know,
But hunting, I think hunting, they have a lot of just specialty stuff.
Red
you know?
Wings though were like the the go-to, like they'd last him like 5 years or something. And I remember like his work boots were like $200 then, $300 for that Red Wing.
But hunting equipment in general is pricey.
God, yeah,
You
like
know what I mean? Like we used to buy
is
stuff.
it waterproof?
Gore-Tex.
Is it waterproof?
Yeah.
This is Omnitech. Shields the rain, son. Going to below 20.
You could survive, no problem.
This is used in Antarctica. Yeah, no, hunting gear is a different animal for sure.
It's kind of like golf too.
I would say when you talk about, I was just thinking about this recently. Being someone that loves sport, I still like my sports, but I don't like it as much as I used to.
As intensely as you. Yeah, me too.
And I was still am a huge 49ers fan for American football.
I think as you get older, you have more stuff, and it's just hard to follow everything.
Well, I'd say when you move, like that's the mecca, right?
Yeah. You like separate yourself from that. Yeah,
I was 15 minutes from the Niner Stadium, from Candlestick Park, and we went to games as a kid. So it's like when you move away from that and you don't go to the games as much, it just takes a little tear down.
Yeah.
When you're in the area where everyone's a fan, it's like, yeah, we're on the same team. Yeah,
everybody's on.
You got a Niner. Like I've been in Thailand before, and someone has a Niners cap,
and you're
like, "What's up, Niners?"
And didn't you tell me that one time you did that, and they were like, "I just bought this."
Yeah, the guy was like from Sweden, and he was like,
"Yeah."
Like he thought he was uncomfortable. He's giving me like a look, like, "What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "You a Niners fan?" He's like, "Nah, I just like the hat." I'm like, "All right, sorry, I just don't see Niners fans Niners fans that often." And another guy I saw, he was like, "Oh yeah, I grew up in Vallejo, all this stuff." Getting back to my story, so a friend of mine, when I was in my early 20s, I maybe had a Niners t-shirt or something like that. I had a hat or something, but I wasn't one of those people that would go like head to toe. And I would never buy a jersey for like $100. They were expensive. They were expensive. And I just didn't feel like I didn't look good in them. Like a football jersey, you got to have a pair of shoulders, dude. Unfortunately for me,
just get some.
I wasn't blessed with like broad, big shoulders, so I wear an NFL jersey, and the thing goes like this. You know, like
do this, dude. There you go. Just do that. Just walk around like that.
Right? He's like, I remember him saying, because he had all these jerseys, like, "You're not a real fan. You're not even a real fan.
You're not supporting the team. Okay,
you're not even a real fan, dude. Like you don't even get Niners gear. Why? Because you do." It's like, come on, dude. If I was gonna get some Niners gear, I'd probably go secondhand again. I'd probably do that. Wash it twice. I'll walk really fast too. It low key annoys out of men when people can't keep up.
Slow it down.
I think people take it personal sometimes.
Slow it down. What are you trying to get away from me? No.
It's funny because I go hiking a lot on a certain trail.
No, that's different. That's different because I've gone on your trail, and if you're not like a hiker and you're not used to it, then you can get lost in the.
I'm pretty cool though. Like I'll stop.
No, you'll stop.
I won't be like, "Come on!" Like it's not a competition. But people were like, "Damn! Like what do you like? How do you do that?" It's like, well, I've done it many times, but I'm a natural fast walker.
But that's different because there's levels. You know, you're going up steep hills and stuff.
It's funny. Like, why are you a slow walker?
I like to, take in the surroundings.
Where's there a vortex? Which place are you talking about?
What is it?
It's fine to walk fast. Thai food is your favorite food? Yeah, the thing is, like, when you live here, it's, well, for my opinion, like, it's not that I get sick of it, but Phuket's a great place because we got food from everywhere. Yeah, like
because there's expats from France.
Yeah, there's Italy. So the food, like the restaurants are really good.
They have like real authentic Italian, pizza.
They have a Georgian restaurant here.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
not Georgia in the States, but the country. Like they have they have a lot of different food.
Is that the one that did they open up one on the main road here?
Turkish.
That's what it was.
Great Turkish restaurant, yeah. Not a huge fan of spicy. I get the white girl versions.
That's what they would assume a lot of times. You will go to like some restaurants and they'll assume just because they assume you're just a traveler or something, and they'll give you no spice, and you have to say like, make me cry. I would tell them, I was like, I want to cry, please.
What do you got to prove, man?
No, I just like I
didn't have Indian food. I've told this story before in the live stream until I was in my 20s, I think, and the first experience was bad. Like, it
I
was
don't think I
bad.
had
The
Indian
food, it
food.
wasn't good. It
I
was
didn't
like
have Indian
buffet
food.
style. A friend
Yeah.
took it and they're like, you never ate Indian food? And it was like everything was out and it
Mhm.
wasn't good. So that was my first impression. So I never ate it again. And I was like one of those,
Dude.
like a kid, like I wouldn't eat it. And then the second time I had it in Chiang Mai,
Mhm.
it was like incredibly
I never
good.
had it. I think the first time I had it was
Oh.
with you when
Ah.
you took me to a place in I think
Krabi.
it was Krabi area,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I was like I was a little reserved. I'm like, all right, you know.
Yep.
And
Because I told you, I go,
dude. It was really
to
good.
me, Indian food's good once a
Mhm.
month. It's really rich.
It is rich. It is rich.
It's rich.
Well, at
It'll
least
go through you
yeah.
the next day.
But
And it's
it was
like,
good.
it's good, but it's not something I'd be like, oh, today again,
Yeah.
today again. It's
Mhm.
like, nah, would never make it out of the bathroom for a week. I love shoes so freaking much. I have probably 60 pairs. There you go. That's called a collection.
That is a collection.
You know, it's one that I didn't like.
What?
We're going to get taken down. You can't mention these.
What?
companies. Doc Martens were ones I never liked.
I don't know. I don't know if
You don't know Doc Martens?
No, I don't think I have.
Look it up on the thing. It's like a specific style. They came back in too. A lot of people in the States had them.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a specific.
There's one episode of King of Queens where Carrie buys design clothes and shoes, then wears and returns. Yeah.
I used to watch that.
One of my really good friends in college, I used to always say was the King of Queens guy. He looked like him.
I watched that show all the
John,
time
I used to
when
always go, he reminded me of King of
Mhm.
Queens. Definitely had a Coach phase, so I have probably around 10 Coach purses. Wow.
Oh.
What would it be like if the whole world went minimalist? It's been reported today that LV's gone down, that like all these companies went down, but like you only got to pick one. If you only had to pick one designing company that you would ride with,
Ooh,
this is a great question.
if I had to just pick,
Yeah, like
one,
you just
man.
had one, because like you probably would want
Well,
to
I'm-
pick one that you could get shoes too.
Yeah, and I would be biased because I would pick something probably like sports golf related or something.
I'd pick
you know?
Nike
So
probably.
I would go Nike or Under Armour. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably pick Nike.
Just because it's a variety. You have got
Nike
so much.
was big, man.
Yeah.
Still is. I don't know if there's another one. Like that's just a brand,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And they have everything. But then the other option would be just like if you went full minimalist, white t-shirts,
White, yeah.
jeans, 2
Mhm.
pairs of jeans, Vans.
Now you got to go like hemp pants or something.
No. Minimalist in my book, minimalist doesn't mean you need to go
like ultra
nature bohemian.
Okay.
It just means you just have to have a simple,
Style.
regular style.
Okay. So just the white shirt then.
Yeah. But if everyone
Can't
went
go wrong.
minimalist, the whole clothing company would be dust.
Yeah.
And now, like sunglasses,
Mhm.
cheap sunglasses are polarized. Like there's no.
You can get the polarization.
Yeah,
on.
that's the biggest hustle in retail is sunglasses. I think those are so cheap.
Cheap to
Like
make, yeah.
they're not made of steel or leather.
Man,
They're all made of plastic.
Bro, I bought some sunglasses that were Oakley's for like made for golf that had prescription. They were like
Microfiber plastic.
Dude, they were like 600. I paid a like
Yeah, no, I
lot.
get it. I get it.
I
I'm not
was like,
talking. I'm
dude.
just saying, like they're probably creaming. If they were 600, they probably make about
it was
I
crazy.
don't know
Dude.
599 on
Mhm,
that. Like it's like I don't like they're not.
Like, I know they have to be specially.
They look cool
made.
though, like the way they present.
Yeah,
Sunglasses
yeah.
look good. We live in an area in the world where there's a lot of knockoffs. So.
And you could probably find some pretty good knockoffs.
Yep,
From people that they probably take them from a factory that's
Yep.
legit.
most certainly. That's too much baggage.
Ooh,
But if
Jenko jeans.
oh no, I never liked those. That's a
I think I had a pair.
You had a pair of
I think
Jenkos?
100% had a pair with
That's
the cool
the-
design on the
it's
on
the
the
ultimate.
pocket,
They're baggy.
on the pocket.
That's when baggy.
But they had like the Jenko like design or whatever. Yeah.
I never liked Janko. I thought it was a little too hard.
Well,
that
it was a
for
fad. It was more
that
of
was
like
for
a fad.
taggers,
Yeah.
people that tagged.
Yeah, kind of that. Yeah, you're right. They were like baggy. Yeah.
I liked silver tab jeans when I was in middle school. And looking back, it must have looked ridiculous because everyone was into baggy jeans.
Later, Rye, if you're out of here. Yeah, the baggy thing. Mm-hmm.
No, not to give them just like that away. I will be waiting. I could just tell my date. So I just have to be upfront with you. I have a lot of baggage and then be all dramatic about it and take them to the closet and be like, sigh. Well, here it is, and slowly open the closet door. I don't know. Like I've seen people that have gone minimalist and they're happier. That's part
Just
of
don't worry.
that's part of what like
be
world
honest.
travelers, people
No.
that travel a lot, they're way minimalistic usually.
So I went to a Catholic school for 9 years, from like K to 8th grade or whatever, and we had a uniform the whole time. So when I went from Catholic school to my high school, it was like planning my week or having like clothes that I had to wear for the week. I was like almost, I was like shocked, like, oh God, this is too much. Like I have to pick.
And you were
things
probably
now.
like the people that were
Jesus.
in style. You were like, dude, where does
What
this guy
is
get
this?
this clothes?
Yeah.
Man, that's sick.
And I've had like a white shirt and
It
khaki
helps.
pants for the 9 years.
It helps when you know what you have to wear. Like
Mhm.
jobs that I've had to wear a suit, I'm like, you're not going to buy 20 suits
Mhm.
unless you're loaded or something. But like,
Mhm.
you know what you're going to wear every day.
Yeah.
It does help. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
I had like anxiety for the first
Really?
for the first like couple weeks of high school. I had to pick my outfits,
That's funny.
or pick what you're gonna wear, and I never had to think about it.
I have all the Cali NFL gear, Rams, Niners, Chargers, and Raiders. So you've obviously just told us
Mhm.
something about you that you're not very loyal to any team. We're not going to put loyalty on you, Petty Betty. You're one of those that gets around with teams.
Which is okay. It's okay. We're not judging.
I'm teasing you. So the Rams must be your favorite team because you said them first. But that's
We'll go with
funny
that.
because usually Rams and Niners fans don't like each other. I have,
Well, yeah, because they.
I have a friend that's a huge Rams and Cowboys fan, and he grew up in the Bay Area. He
Mm.
grew up, well,
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan.
it's one of those. He's
So-
like, oh, no, I was born in L.A. One of those. I was born in L.A. It's like lived there till I was 4. And then he lived in the Bay, but he always brings
For
up, I was
20
like,
years.
like it's,
Yeah.
credibility.
Mhm.
And he got a tattoo of a Rams fan
Mhm.
pissing on a Niners logo.
Well, that's just mean. It's just mean.
Like how is that going to have significance when you're like 50 with kids or something, dude? I was
Mhm.
like, wow,
Mhm.
he's proud of that one. That would be so funny to see someone's reaction from when I was acting dead ass. Big fan of Doc Martin. See, some people really like him.
No, I think I didn't. I
They
didn't know if
were.
were,
It's just
but
one of
yeah.
those things I didn't.
Yeah.
I always thought they were ugly, to be honest. But that's
I
just an
think
opinion.
but like the right people can wear certain things, and they look good on people. And,
You know what comes to mind?
Mm.
Tower Records.
Oh yeah,
Tower Records.
that's throwing it back. Yeah,
Tower Records is
Uh-huh.
a Doc Martens.
for sure. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I met a guy here when I lived in Chiang Mai, like when I say here in Thailand,
Mhm.
and he owned like a pub and stuff like that. And he was at an age where you'd be retired,
Mhm.
and he was like did 20 years at Tower Records corporate,
Oh wow.
and he had like long hair. He almost
Yeah.
looked like a Ben and Jerry's founder.
Uh huh.
And I was like, yeah, you look like it. And I was like, wow, Tower Records is done. He goes, yep, got out at the right time. Because like
Yeah,
they
he
must have
must have.
only had a 20-year window.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
They were huge though.
They were huge. They were huge. We always went to get our CDs and stuff there. That was it. Yeah.
Dinosaur.
Uh huh. Just like Blockbuster.
It's like you did 20 years at Tower Records.
You must have gone to Blockbuster on Friday nights, right?
Blockbuster was probably 10 or 15 years. It wasn't a
Then
yeah,
Netflix
like yeah,
did it.
we went to Blockbuster for sure.
Yeah. We used to do the Blockbuster night. Like we'd get pizza and go to Blockbuster on Friday.
What is a Blockbuster night? Is
It would
that
be like the
something
movie
you
night.
made up?
No,
or
it would be like a movie night. Like we
and
go to
Blockbuster would give you pizza?
No, I'm just saying like that would be our family. Like it would be Blockbuster night. Let's go get a movie and pizza and stuff.
Yeah. It's like what would like people that were like tribal or Native
Mhm.
Americans or that, what would they think about how we lived?
I don't know.
It'd be crazy.
You could do that now.
What if we flipped?
There's some Amazonian tribes
You
out there.
flipped.
Yeah.
It's just a like more typical military style. Those shoes, boots,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what kind of the feel of it.
military shoes. Chanko jeans. Yeah, we must be the same age range,
Yeah, has to
Chaylee,
be.
with the
Have
Chanko.
to be.
Chankos were when I was in middle school. I remember.
Middle school? Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I view minimalist as someone who doesn't have much, like 6 shirts. Super. I have friends that are minimalistic, but they just it's just a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I have one that comes to mind.
it's funny because, like I said about world travelers,
Mhm.
a lot of times they're a little bit more on that side of
Mhm.
the fence of,
Yeah.
as far as being minimalistic.
Right.
And a friend of mine that's a huge world traveler, like
Mhm.
it's been to like 50 countries in like 3 years. And he came to my house last year, and I thought, oh, he'll probably have like, how some people are really good with their luggage.
Packing luggage.
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like he's a world traveler, right? He's been to all these countries, but he does long stays. He'll be like a month because he works from his computer.
He's taking some clothes with him.
Dude, this guy had like 3 bags that were probably like 50 kilos each. I was like, you travel with those all the time? He's like, yep. I was just like, he's like, I got him. He's a strong guy. I was like, I got that one wrong, man. I can't even get up the stairs with those, dude. I was going to help you out. Never judge a book by its cover. Great to have being back. Thank you.
Good to be back.
Yeah, this is good. 5'2", 105. Wow, that is small, huh?
5'2"?
Could be a jockey. I have an entire spare room of clothes. Gotta make some.
Got an ex like that.
Gotta make some donations.
Oh, she plays fantasy football.
Ooh, Petty Betty. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yes, I wish I would have saved my CDs. I have no idea what I did with them. I don't know if you can. It's pretty hard to find a CD player these days, right?
You could go to like a consignment place or
I don't miss
eBay.
my CDs or DVDs. Or
it's actually kind of funny.
They're useless.
My parents are they just moved. I was telling you they moved.
They still have their DVDs and CDs?
They have an old like storage unit with tons of stuff that they're trying to get rid of, and they were going through it. And they're like,
that's the most American thing to have a storage unit.
Oh yeah. And they just literally this last week they were like, "What are you doing with all your CDs and old like Xbox, games and stuff?" Yeah, they asked me. I'm like, "Dude, just get rid of them."
Yeah, I think that I'd rather records have a
has a
different sound,
and a vibe
and nostalgia to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, but CDs, I don't miss them.
Although I do have, I think
DVDs too. It's like with Netflix, it's just
I do have the first CD that I bought. Like I went to the store and paid my own money. Like maybe I had like a paper. However, made money.
What was
back
the first
in the day.
CD?
Tupac. This is the first one I bought.
No.
Yeah. Tupac.
Me Against the World.
All Eyes on Me.
Oh wow. You're younger than me. Yeah.
Double sided or two.
Did you have cassettes before that?
Yeah, I did.
I think my first cassette, because I grew up when there was no CDs, and when I was young, was Top Gun soundtrack.
Really?
That's how old I am.
Top Gun soundtrack was you bought?
Top Gun was like 86.
Yeah, right after our probably.
I remember like the first song on the soundtrack where they're like, Kenny Loggins or one of those. It's like I'd clean my room to that. Like, yeah.
Was it Take Me to the?
I can't sing it. It's in my head. I'm not a good enough singer.
Come on, bust it
I can
out.
impersonate people, but I can't do singing very well. I can't get it right in my head because I haven't heard it in so long. But that was the first one I had was Top Gun, and then I think the second one that comes to mind that I had was Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
Brass Monkey.
Yeah.
Fight for Your Right to Party was a big song when I was young, and that video, like that was big.
Fight for your right.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, that one. That
gets me hyped, dude. I love those.
I had Run DMC, the first one. So those are the ones I had, and then I just remember thinking the album cover for Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA" was cool. I still like that song too. I don't know if I had that cassette though, but I just remember that was in the store.
Oh, you were like,
yeah,
I'm gonna
buy
that.
Oh, that's the boss.
That's
I like that
that's
song.
The boss.
I was born.
Do you watch his podcast with
Bruce Springsteen has one
with Obama, dude?
With Obama?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it's on. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were. They did have one.
That's nostalgic, huh?
Like the pairing of those two. I was like, oh, okay. I never listened, but I know it was out there.
Yeah. Now that we didn't listen to, like, we didn't as a family have a music. Like a couple of my friends, it was like, oh, they'd have instruments in the living room, and they would have like, like a big collection. My buddy would be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the drums and like sing the song, and I would be like, what?
Like a family sing along.
I'm gonna go home early, dude.
You weren't.
One of my good friends, one of my really good friends, they had all these instruments, and they would like get together and jam, and do weird songs and stuff. And now I look at it, I'm like, that's really good for your family, dude. Like, his family's close. But when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go home.
Green Day, yeah. My friend had Chronic.
The CD. Chronic was when I came out in middle school. That was a CD.
Okay, so Chronic. So I was on the basketball team as a freshman, and like one of the older varsity guys had that CD, and we were listening. Like he gave me a ride home, and I was just like, "This is the coolest thing ever, dude." That was such a great. I love that CD.
What was it called? Chronic.
Yeah.
I just lost my train of thought because Sabina said next topic suggestion. Love has nothing to do with relationship. I don't know. I'll tell you what.
Well, what's your definition of love?
When I read that, it caught my attention because it doesn't make sense initially. So then I have to think about it again. So tell me what you mean by that, Sabina. Love has nothing to do with relationship. Are you saying that the relationship has more to do with compatibility? Because that's one of the big things I would say I've learned is that we overlook compatibility quite a bit. And it's never been harder to be more compatible with people because the way the world is now, people are
the options of being on social media, that kind of stuff.
Older generations would be from the same religion, from the same area, from the same race sometimes, which that's not a thing. I mean, everyone's open now, so everyone's got a different background, so the compatibility is different.
I just think it's the Instagram culture. Like I'm going to swipe, the Tinder culture that we're in, that kind of thing.
She said, I learned my lesson. Don't date 25-year-olds when you're 38, 39. Just know what you're getting into.
Yeah, know that there's probably going to be some differences.
I think that, and I'm working towards it, but like you got a personality assessment on someone along with their profile. That would be a little bit like to know how people operate.
Right.
That would be better.
Well, that's
them telling you like, oh, I like to go fishing.
Right. But that's an idea that we've been talking about. So
I think it would be.
That might be coming down the pipeline.
Yeah. No, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I would be interested in that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How you operate as a personality, your character. It's way, because if you knew that up front, even if it's not completely accurate.
You just had a base idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you go, oh yeah, instead of just thinking like surface based, like hobbies. But I would say that I've had a couple girls that became girlfriends, like from dating. I remember just getting in the car and like we like the same music, and being like, oh, this is cool.
You can vibe out.
Yeah. I remember because I like a lot of 70s and 80s music. Like Bill Withers or
I know you're Brown, James Brown.
James Brown.
I know that's a big one for you.
Yeah, James Brown. I like that music. I don't listen to it all the time, but I remember that girl I was dating, she had that in. It's not common for people to play that.
Right.
People like it.
Yeah. I remember years ago you busted that out. I was just like,
little James Brown.
Little James Brown. We were going out, and
whenever you play that somewhere where you can play a song, like it feels good, or everyone's like, yeah.
And it'd been a while since I'd gone down
and
James.
The music from those times because that used to be radio music.
He is such a character, man.
That's funny. She said the sex was not good towards the end though, but definitely not worth it. Well, don't make him the representative for all 25-year-olds, but Chef Chaley, if you date someone so young, means you're going through something. You are being on the same level as it. Wow, Sabina, that's a pretty big judgment. I don't know if I agree with that, Sabina.
That's just too broad. Like there can be many.
But I will tell you this, Sabina. I always appreciate your take.
Of course, Sabina's an OG. Of course.
Just know what you're getting into. That's all. Just know that I think that
Sabina's gonna write you, by the way.
That's clinical psychology. Oh no. Okay. If you date someone so young, it means you're going through something. Well, I mean, all right. If you're gonna use clinical psychology, what are you going through? And then you are being on the same level as a 25. Well, why wouldn't the 25-year-old be on the 38 level?
Are they going through something?
Good thing to bring up.
I mean, she could be right.
And there's exceptions to the rule.
Right. I mean, right.
I had a client that when he was like 22, he married a woman 15 years older than him.
22?
Yeah, a man. Because that's uncommon, right?
Yeah.
Look at your face. You're like, what?
I mean, no. I mean, it happens.
Well, that's when there's a 15-year age gap, usually 35 to 38 is a sweet spot because from 35 to 38, you're just on the fringe.
Yeah, you're still there.
right?
You haven't leaped to the.
It's like that's when they get, and then when the person gets to 50 and the other person's 35, that's when
then
they're
you're
out.
off levels.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
They got a divorce, but they were married for like 15, 20 years, I think. And he said it wasn't a bad relationship, but it ended up being more like friends. But it happens.
Sure.
And he wasn't like, it was horrible. And So, I mean,
it can play out different ways.
It can. And I think I've told people this before. I was just talking to someone about this recently. A lot of it's environment. If you live in a small town of 10,000 people, you're not going to have as many options.
The pool is going to be a lot smaller.
Yeah. And so that's what attributes to it. Or if you look at something like musicians, you know, a lot of times they look younger. That has to do with maybe vibe or energy.
Comedians, I'm sure, like
their fame,
right?
And you know, I don't know.
There's a lot of situations.
There's some variables to that. To say they have something clinically wrong with them, I don't know. So, what would be the age limit if you're 38? What would be the age limit that you'd suggest that they would abide to not be crazy, to not be going through something?
Right.
Because there's some 25-year-olds that are highly mature. I know someone right now where I was like, damn, you're one of the few people I know that's 25, 26 that I would think was
you
35.
Could be on the same like maturity level as each other.
And thinking about it, that particular guy is dating a woman that's like 6 years older.
So.
Bachelor's degree in sociology and minor in psychology. You know what's interesting about psychology? A lot of the forefathers, like Carl Jung, excuse me, been talking for 2 hours. Freud. It's like their models or what they were dealing with is a lot different than the world we're dealing with now. I mean, but it's still and I get it, like human nature is human nature, but there hasn't been really like, I guess Jordan Peterson's one of the right. He almost is more of a philosopher because he references those people,
right?
But one of the things I think is that, and this is just my own opinion that's highly biased because I don't have a psychology degree. My stuff's from the internet and actually just doing coaching with people. Like I've learned on the job, and having a job as a teacher for years, right? But I watch a lot of long form interviews. Jeffrey Mishlove, like people that have been to my house, brother, like, you watch this stuff? Watch it all the time. Like where people get interviewed. Like Gabor Mate, I think his name's Gabor Mate. Like I love watching.
Oh, Gabor, yeah.
Right?
I've seen him on Rogan.
But like long form podcasts or listen to him.
Sure.
You learn a lot from that stuff. So like to me, and this is no knock. Like I'm okay when someone's like, I got a degree in this. Great. I have a degree in history. And I'm proud I got it. It's a high achievement in my life. I don't regret it. But I would say that you can learn a lot more now. But what you always have to double check with yourself is psychology and school has created labels or umbrella topics where they're like, oh, you're this thing. But this is the thing. If someone's bipolar, everyone underneath that umbrella that's bipolar is still different. They got there for different reasons and they're doing different things.
And it varies.
You know what I'm saying?
Even the thing can vary on the degree of which they
have the spectrum of it. Right. So to me, it's gotten to a point now where people that aren't clinicians are diagnosing other people as narcissists and all these other things, right? It's like, all right, think about factory things. Like you get a Hershey's milk chocolate bar, right? Just a random thing.
Mr. Beast is trying to take them down, by the way. So let's support Mr. Beast. All right.
He's taking them down?
He's got his own chocolate company. So
okay. Is that personal?
Yeah, I think so.
So Hershey's chocolate bar is made in a factory, as far as I know. Yeah. They're shipped around the world. They're going to be very similar because they can control the ingredients and all that. What you're doing now with some of these labels, like bipolar, borderline, narcissism, I'm not saying that it doesn't have relevance
or line up certain ways,
but it's not an absolute. So if you just go, this person's a narcissist, and then you line up 10 other ones, they're all different personalities and they have different aspects that they're going to act on, but you're calling them the same person. For example, If you're going to call someone a wide receiver for football, or you're going to call someone a guard in basketball, they still play different.
Right. They're the same position,
yeah,
but they're different.
So it's kind of one of those things where people just throw that out. Oh, this person's this. Oh, this person's that. It's okay, but it's like you're just on the outer crust of that thing, and you're not, by you doing that or identifying that, you don't fix their problems, because you need to know their stories and how they operate. You just say that they have some personality traits that fall under that, and some of them, like I said, like by borderline, that I'm getting more updated on. I have a client right now that's dealing with someone like that. I've learned a lot, and I've known about it before, but I know the characteristics. But that being said, no individual that has that specific thing acts the exact same. Yet there's only one label. Think about that. So a lot of people like, let me figure out this label that I can put on 100 people, like a Hershey's chocolate bar. But really, until you get in a live interview and interaction with them, even if you were like a clinician and you diagnosed them with XYZ, they're still going to operate different than the other person. So you still need to treat them as an individual. That's all. What people do now, oh, once I got the label, I know everything about them. They have this, and this. It's like, no. Sometimes they have 3 of the things, but specifically, they're different. And so human beings are intricate. And that's where sometimes I feel like learning about that textbook stuff limits you, because you're just looking to fit them in a box, a label, or a thing that you've learned from the book, rather than how does this person operate? How are we going to fix their problems? How are we going to improvise along the way? That's why I like Milton Erickson's work, who's the godfather of hypnosis or hypnotherapy. He would adapt to the client. That's just a perspective. That's not right or wrong. And a lot of these like attachment theory and stuff, that like they have some relevance, but they're theories. Say, do you want to talk one of Mac's live stream? Tell us why you were attracted to the young guy.
Let's get deeper.
Shaylee's come on before, actually.
Yeah,
she's come and talked before. I remember.
Let's get deeper.
Stereotypes are bullshit. Shaylee, what attracted you to the young guy? Gabber is great on trauma, but here's the thing about Gabber, okay? I like him. He's well-spoken. He's an interesting looking guy.
He is interesting.
Like his look, right?
Hair, yeah.
And I mean it just like that.
Yeah,
like when you see him one time, you're like,
oh, where is it? What's his story?
He's
like,
a
what's going on?
different looking guy.
Yeah.
And he's got this
interesting for sure.
Like this mannerisms, very slow and stuff. But he's also, when he talks about trauma and different things, it's anecdotal. When I was a kid. So it's always coming back to him. That's not bad, but it's not going to suit everyone. It's not going to apply to everyone. I like listening to him, but I wouldn't say that, everything, like I said, people are going to resonate with what vibes with what's happened in their own life. Everyone was not planning on falling for him, but I just did. 1111 will make the wish for me. Actually, it's 111 for us.
Can we still do that?
Yeah.
Here, 111.
Can you do a late 1111?
I just wish that Petty Betty had a great week. So,
you ruined it. You said it out loud. So
I don't believe
she's gonna have a bad week now.
I don't believe that.
Sorry, Petty Betty. I apologize for his lack of understanding about 1111. Is
that really how wishes work? You can't say it. That's messed up.
Guy does it all the time. Oh yeah, you want to make a wish? I'll just say it out. You know that from doing birthday candles, right? You're not supposed to say it. You're never supposed to say a wish out loud. Did you say your wishes out loud for birthdays?
Probably not. You're making sense now.
When I was a kid, I wouldn't make a wish. I'd just pray for everyone.
Yeah, the world. Just generally have a better world, You're such a...
Hold on, before the candles go. Hold on, let's everyone...
No, you were like, hope the Niners win the Super Bowl.
Let's say grace.
No, I'm not buying it.
Hold on.
Yeah, see, you're welcome, Petty Betty. Mac's just hating. I know.
I absolutely agree with you. For example, a drug counselor who's just book trained is never going to be as good as a drug. Yes, that's my point, Shaylee.
Right.
I would also add that. All right, let me just take it a layer deeper for the 10 on deck.
That's true. That is true.
It's exactly my point, hun. And I'm not saying that drug counselor that's book trained doesn't have relevance, because someone would like the book trained person that's book trained too. So someone that's into like textbook stuff does a lot of stuff. They're like, I want
They
the book.
vibe together and
Right.
it works.
So then the addict thing, right? Now there's a subcategory. Well, I was an addict and now I've, done X, Y, Z, and now,
experience.
right? And I shot up heroin, I did coke, and I did these things. So those things that they did, they're going to be more specialized for those people. Where if someone comes in and they're like, oh, I got addicted to snuffing spray paint in a bag, the person might go, what? How'd that happen? Like it might not vibe. So even then, there's subcategories within. For example, let's say you had a drug counselor that was a prior addict, and one guy is one religion, another guy's another religion. If you walked in, you'd probably like the person that had your religion, just because you just have more rapport. It's not biased. It's not anything like that. It's just that will be better for you to communicate sometimes. Could be voice, could be many things. And so it's just so much more layered than that. Gotta roll. Take care. Wow, Ben, you stayed on this long. Thanks, man. I'm losing my voice myself. I was battling a cold. It's been long already.
It's been a while since you've done a live stream.
Yeah, man. I didn't think I was going to get that out today. Life experience will always try. I mean, there's some good books. There's some books where you're like, you'll just go, wow, that touched me. That hit me right because you were late. So you always can come back to this one. Take care, B-Dub. You can always relate to this one. This is one that comes up a lot. Mm-hmm. Do you believe in ghosts?
Is this directed at me?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Do I? Man, no, but I don't know. I'm like.
But if you saw one, you did,
dude. Yeah, I mean, if I had an experience,
I'm not telling you to or not to. Sure. So, like, an answer would be for me, like, I don't know. I've sensed things before. I've been in situations. I do think so. After
right.
And what's your definition? Like, I would have a different answer.
Yeah.
But someone that quote unquote saw one, or since they were little, it would be like, oh yeah. There's always a yellow brick road of storyline or narrative, but the person that believes in the ghost the most is the one that saw one before.
Yeah, personal experience. Yeah, but for me personally, I'd be like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's gonna happen now.
Wait, what do you?
Have you ever sensed something?
Yeah, I think that could be different things though. Like I don't know. I've
had a couple.
How dogs can sense energy?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I've sensed
that. I think
I've sensed energy from dogs.
That's what I'm saying. We're on the same. You know what I mean? Like we can feel stuff.
You know what's funny is that when I walk on the beach in the morning and I have my ear pods in that are Bluetooth, I think the dogs get a signal for it,
like the pitch or
because sometimes the dog will be like, like they'll be laying out on the beach and you walk by them and they'll be like,
what is that? Or they're just feeding off your energy.
Because they have more sensitive hearing.
Oh yeah, well, like the dog whistle or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, whoa.
Wow, you met Gabber. Okay, cool. He's Hungarian, I believe.
Hungarian.
You're a medium?
Yeah.
Shaylee's a medium? Yeah. Oh, we definitely have to have you on.
She came on before, right? Like
she didn't do medium stuff.
No,
like when you're a medium,
wasn't that the topic?
When you're a medium, you channel stuff, right, Shaylee? Like you channel another voice. Will you channel people that are non-living, or do you channel
medium means like you're the intermediary.
You're channeling someone, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought.
Someone who speaks poorly about an ex is a huge red flag. That's true. I'll give you that. We got to hear some. Look, dude, we're talking about ghosts. The light just went out. Come on. Come on, man.
I'm not saying anything.
All right, folks, we're going to close this one out. The light just told me.
You've got to get on a call soon.
I got to go to call. Yeah, I got a client in the UK.
Kept this going.
I've got to eat a little something.
Yeah,
I got my voices starting to get a little harsh here. Lights went out. This is crazy.
that was
Shaylee, we're going to have you on and maybe you can channel something. That'd be interesting. We had here someone, former addict, talked very good about an ex for months and how she left him because she suffers from borderline. Then around 1 year later, got back with her and got married. Wow. Remember I talked very bad about it for months and how she left him because she suffers from borderline. Then around one, why would they get back with the person with borderline? That's a tough one, man.
Kaylee had a near-death experience.
Oh yeah, I think
That's
you
what it
said
is.
that last time. Ventilator for 3 days when I was 19. I fully crossed over. I felt we need you. I remember every second of it. Sure, I'd be happy to. I told you to email me before about it. You forgot.
Or maybe it's buried in your email somewhere.
No, I check my email all the time.
Do you?
Yeah. That's a new show. Me and B are talking about doing a whole new style show. And we're thinking about flying Petty Betty out here.
Oh, yeah?
With that hair, we can go Petty Monroe. Won't tell my name. Won't tell the name now. Mac, you had the guy here talking in the stream. I don't know who that was. All right, folks, this has been good. This has been grand. I'm losing my voice. Like I said, 2 hours, 25 minutes. Good to have B back on deck. We're working towards a new studio. Probably soon, maybe this month, and go a little bit more regular, maybe 2 times a week with a little bit more polished show. So you guys are welcome to that. I'll keep you updated.
Any suggestions that anybody might have, drop them.
Yeah,
we'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Or stories.
Oh, definitely stories. Drop the stories.
All right, folks, take care. It is curtains.
Later, guys.